Hello, and welcome to FMK Anime. I am your host, Meep, joined by my co-hosts, Makan and Dalaran. Say hi, you two.
I'm back.
Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Hi everyone. Makan, you have anything you want to plug today? Yourself?
Sure. I got my Twitter as always at that_Viking. I don't think I've logged on to it once since last time we did this, but if you want to go look at an empty account that hasn't changed, go ahead.
Really selling it, Makan.
Well, if I don't do shit, I'm not gonna. I fucking post shit daily when I don't do shit.
You can
Uh,
find me
Go
at
ahead, Veep.
soul_king777. If you're a minor, do not follow me. I will find you, and I will do some very not nice things to your front door. It will have a new dog door in it.
I mean,
Before Meep gets put on a list for the way he's putting things,
yeah.
uh,
I just can say, you can follow me if you're a minor. You probably shouldn't.
okay. That was Meep's roundabout way of saying that if you're under 18, do not follow. One day he will actually just say that, but we'll sit and wait for that day,
Well,
everyone.
minors do not follow me. It's pretty straightforward. When I say minors do not follow me, or I will kick down your door.
Yeah, but when you tell people not to do something, it only makes them want to do it more in many cases. But if you say
I mean,
18 plus, then people be like, "Oh, okay, I know what that means."
well, minor and 18 plus means the same thing essentially, and you're still telling them not to, would just make any fucking teenager go, I'm gonna do it anyway.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah. Like, even if I said it's an 18 plus account, then teenagers will go, ooh, porn, and follow. And if you're under the age of 12, why are you watching us? Where are your parents?
Where are your? Hey, you don't know the answer to that question. Who are you to ask them that?
We are we're 18 plus on this show half the time. This is a show where we talk about how we want to fuck other shows. We're already 18 plus.
Hi everyone. You guys can. I'm Dalaron. You guys can catch me over at Dalaron Quest. That's Dalaron Quest on Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. I have nothing much to plug. I'm back home. I'm probably gonna stream more. Who the fuck knows? I've been more active on Twitter than I have been on Twitch. What is happening with my life? But yeah, welcome to our show. We enjoy hanging out and talking about anime. And if you like us talking about anime, feel free to give us a follow, or a like on the YouTubes, or a follow on the Twitch, and then a subscribe on the YouTubes and the Twitch if you're really keen on it. Also, if you like disagree with what we're saying, tell us. Like, don't rage. There's no reason for you to like go down a fucking rabbit hole and take us all down with you. But if you disagree, tell us. And if you do agree, elaborate.
Yeah, if you think Seven Knights is a masterpiece to grace the earth that deals with complexities and intricacies of issues, then hey, tell us that. We'll think you're wrong, but you can tell us.
Hey, to be fair, Seven Knights is probably the best gotcha game fucking anime we had on this show.
King's Raid was better.
I disagree. See? Look at that. Already happening.
Anyways, this is a show where each week we talk about a list of anime. At the end of the week, we can cut an anime. But let's just read right into it with Vivy Fluorite Ice Song, episode 12. The archive tells Vivy that for the human race to evolve, the AI must replace humans as a new race, and it has been observing the Singularity Project and interfering so that its mission could still come to fruition. But tells Vivy if she can sing the song she wrote, it will prove that AIs can evolve into the race, such as humans, and will shut down the AI. Vivy and Matsumoto, along with Toke, storm the building, but fail as Vivy cannot bring herself to sing. Matsumoto tells Vivy to reflect on their journey so she can pour her heart into her singing. And as the satellites crash into the Earth, Dr. Matsumoto sends them back in time, but instead of saving him, they, they rush right to Toke, taking away their ability to time travel.
Why didn't he just
Oh,
send him back 100 years again?
And also,
He couldn't. The lab was too much damaged.
Okay, so let me also ask this. Why not go back and save him first? Because she survives the initial attack anyway.
Right?
Because it's a time crunch. The whole idea is that they do it as fast as they can so they can save more people and have more time.
I'm pretty sure they can spare about like 20 minutes.
I'm pretty sure it's
Mm,
more than 20 minutes to get him, then go to Toke.
no, the 20 minutes sounds about right, but 20 minutes is a lot of time, especially considering that, satellites go boom.
Yeah, sure, but with the time they had last time, they spent like, from the look of it, like a few hours just pissing around their base.
So, what was the. Hold on, Beep, what did you say? What did you say for the couldn't send it back 100 years? Why?
Because they said the scene, the program was too much damaged from when the satellites crashed. He could only spare to send them back right before he was killed.
Said,
Mm.
well, send them back. Then they go to him and go, "Hey, can you just send us back to the 100-year beginning again?"
But
Instead of
they
his
know
order.
that wouldn't solve anything. What
Okay,
would
yeah.
going back 100 years solve?
And this brings me back to the issue with the show, right? Like, okay, cool. The archive straight up said, and I mean, like, archive's a bitch, right? Like, 'cause, like, archive is a dick. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, we listened to all the shit you were changing, and then in the background, we kind of like tried to change it back without you guys noticing. And I'm like, fuck you, you asshole.
I do like that the archive confirmed my thing that the entire 100-year journey is completely meaningless and they would never be able to change anything.
It fucking isn't, because if they didn't go on that journey, the archive wouldn't have observed the Singularity Project. They wouldn't have bought that chance to shut down the AI. Vivy would not have gone through this personal journey. Matsumoto would not have gone through that personal journey, and they would not have been able to pick each other up when they have fallen down. And Matsumoto wouldn't have been able to tell Vivy, "Hey," because he thinks outside the cube for once and says, "A heart is what you define it." You need to find your own definition. It doesn't matter what other people think pouring your heart into something means. It's what you think. Because the show is about a person finding their identity and going on a personal journey to find out who they are and what their purpose in life is.
Yeah, man.
That is the entire message of this show.
Yeah, no, Meep. Yeah, Meep said it. I agree with Meep.
And that scene had me bawling for
Aw.
20 fucking minutes.
Aw.
Seeing Vivy at her lowest point, seeing her. Because normally Vivy is a character that bounces more off others. Like when she's being her own, like when she's like doing things by herself, she's a bit more muted. But this was the first time we see her actually be more emotive than normal, other than when she was Diva, but that's different. Like, and just that broke me seeing her. I can't say on the verge of tears because she can't cry, but just see her breaking down was heart wrenching to me. I
Her
was bawling.
her voice is pretty much crying. If she was able to cry, she'd be crying.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Matsumoto starts giving his speech like, no, it like hearing him try and pick her up, I continued to cry, but for a different reason. I was like, yeah, Matsumoto, you tell her. Then that fucking guitar picks in. It's like, I can send you back, but just rush to Toke. We have one last shot at this. I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was bawling for 20 minutes. I had to pace around my house to calm myself. This episode was so powerful to me because it was the crux of the message of the show. It was everything coming to fruition. And I am so invested to see the end of this.
I'll
I
agree that something there's actually something there that I think was very well done. The death of Matsumoto, the scientist,
Yeah,
was very well
Osamu,
done.
Dr. Matsumoto. I was sad about that.
Yeah. Do you want to know why that was well done? It had more than 2 episodes of build-up.
Eh. Well, did it?
Yes, he was from the beginning. He's always been in the background and around. He's had at least 4. Also, on that same note, I do want to point out we got reintroduced to Beth last episode, and they killed her this episode. Same thing with Yugo's grandmother. She got introduced last episode and killed this episode. The show just can't stop itself, can it?
Kill is relative. Kill is relative because they go back in time again.
Yeah, sure.
They still gave her a death.
They got reintroduced this episode again, so I wonder if they're gonna die the next
one. And that death was actually really effective for me. Like the aliens breaking in, her just lifting her face. can I help you?
No, that's not what she said. She said like, "What's your name?" And like because she treats AIs as people, right? And like that's really great.
Yeah, and
So
that's
I have things I want to say about that scene. Um, all right. So the majority of Toke Girl's death, I felt was very contrived. It was very by the numbers, and the whole fucking. You remember? And first of all, that's a terrible way to do exposition. But okay, we're short on time. We're like 2 episodes left of the season of the series. But remember, Beth, how I chose not to get electronic implants because I wanted to show the world I can rely on you. And I'm like, bitch, that's so dumb. That's so
I don't know.
dumb.
I felt those effective on giving us motivation, especially when we're going to be with them again. So now we understand her motivation, like why she wants why she's treating AIs like humans. She wants to show the world that she can rely on AIs, but AIs can also rely on her.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that plays into the message of what the archive's goal is because I actually thought it was interesting.
Well,
The
hold
archive
on,
went
hold on. I wasn't
human.
I wasn't done with the Toke Girl thing. And like I thought that was like I thought no I stand by it, like that's it's really contrived and a little try hard and super on the nose, but like everything that came afterwards, like yes you know 2 lines before she even said it, she's like, Beth, I'm gonna ask you as a friend. Not, and then she's like, is this an order? And she's like, no, it's a friend asking for a favor. I'm like, yep, there it is. But the whole fucking scene and the way it ended with the actual, I'll just back to this, the fucking first of all, brutal animation on the AIs for like just art design with like half their faces fucking scarred off because of fire or parts of them just blown off and ripped off. And just her looking up and being like, she knew she was going to die, but she stayed true to her ideals to the very end, unlike her grandfather, don't remember who Toke Boy was for her.
Grandfather.
Grandfather did. She stayed true to her ideals to the very end, and she knew there was no reasoning, but she still treated him as a person. And honestly, like that's important. Like that final scene brought everything back around and was really good and impactful for me too.
Yeah, just this show does what another show. I don't. No, Inuyashiki wasn't made by Wit. It was made by Mappa. But what Mappa did with Inuyashiki is, in just 1 or 2 episodes, they can make you really care about a character. They only need to give you 1 or 2 episodes of them. In some cases, even a scene, and you can really care about that character. And that's what happened for me with the granddaughter. She's not the strongest character, God no, but it gave me enough for me to care about her and her relationship with Elizabeth and Elizabeth's relationship with her. And then the scene where she died, I thought that was brutal and showing like these mindless drones just being controlled by the archive. And that was, I don't know, that was impactful to me. And as far as the archive goes as well, I I enjoy its motivation of wanting AI to take the place of humans, but what made it much more interesting to me is realizing it's not doing this out of maliciousness. Because if it was, it wouldn't have made that offer to Vivy. Like, hey, if you can meet our mission by doing what you do, great, we'll stop. I, I don't know. I found that much more interesting. Okay, it's not doing this out of maliciousness. This is just a force. It wants to meet its goal, but the way it meets it is irrelevant to it, and that's what makes it much more interesting. Is the archive the strongest antagonist? No. Is it the strongest antagonist this season? I would still probably say no, but it's more interesting to me than
That
in a lot of ways.
I was waiting for you to finish there before I spoke up. I have to disagree with you on the being able to make you care for a character in the 2 episodes, because I have not been able to care for a single character death in this show because it just has not had enough time to establish. It is not enough time to make it meaningful. The Doctor
I
was
disagree.
a meaningful one because it felt like I knew more about him. We saw him grow up in that entire episode. We knew him before it. We got his reasoning for why he did what he did and why he chose Vivy, even though it was a stupid fucking reason.
hmm,
Um,
yep.
so we
Oh, he
actually knew
chose.
him.
I also thought that the Doctor choosing of Vivy was really fucking stupid, and then like that final
Oh.
scene played out with Vivy being really all sad and shutting down, and then like the fact that I think it just didn't really fully click with us, Makan, especially with you. It especially didn't with you, but like her being the one who is questioning what is to have a heart or soul, and like what is to put your heart into something, does put her in a position to be the bridge between AI and humans, and the one to kind of solve this conflict.
I can
I-
agree with that,
I
but
Hold on, let me
but
come.
the doctor knew fuck all about that. His reasoning was, well, my kids like you singing,
I
so
like you
therefore,
singing. Yes,
because
me.
this person had a very big impact on his life. He trusts her more than he trusts anyone. I don't know. He's entrusting this to her because he believes in her and trusts her. But at the same time, it wasn't like, oh, he just sent a message to Vivy in the past. No, he sends a part of himself to help out Vivy and guide her in the
Are you
form of
doing the little
Matsumoto.
clickety clackities? There's a little bit of sound coming.
Can I clickety clackety aside? Can I finish making my point? And I'll
Sure, just
see
watch your audio. Make sure it's clean.
the because he sends a part of himself because Matsumoto is a extension of himself to Vivy, and we see in that final scene it go all the way around because he's like, and when Matsumoto goes, "You asked me why you're the only one that can do this. It's because it could only be you. You at the start, you were like a thorn in my side, questioning my plans, going against them." But that worked to our benefit, and like when the tears were coming out of my eyeballs, I was like, "Yeah, character development. You tell her, Matsumoto." Like that scene goes full circle, and it helps you understand why she could be the only one because she found her identity, her purpose through this. And what was the most heartwarming thing, especially in this current year, in our current time, where people have been incredibly selfish, people only doing things for themselves, it helps to see someone who's searching for their purpose in life and finds it through helping others, through making them smile, through being selfless. That's what was so powerful to me about this episode is Vivy finding her purpose, the crux of all of her development, the crux of this theme, and seeing this person be my purpose in life is to help others. It's to make them happy. Because she's been searching for her purpose this whole time through her singing, through the Singularity Project. And when she loses both of those, she feels like a failure of a person. And that hurts. I've been there. I felt like a failure when I had no purpose. And when Matsumoto gives that speech, that was so heartwarming because he's helping her find her identity. And that's what I loved about it.
I agree with like your take on the Matsumoto speech. That scene also got me a little choked up. I thought it was really good, but like I I don't I don't fully understand Vivi's drama because on one hand, I know it's like people can get all the help in the world, which Vivi did, you know, uh, from Diva, from Matsumoto, from Doctor Matsumoto, from Beth, from like there's everyone was kind of even the fucking archive was cheering her on, despite how contrived all that shit was too. But I'll get back to that in a little bit. Um, and like I get it. On one hand, sometimes you can have all the help in the world, but if you're not able to process and deal with your trauma, that's not it's not going to accomplish anything. But on the other hand, this is starting to feel dragged out for me. Like the whole world is depending the fucking fate of the world is depending on you, Vivi, and like your mission is to make sure that people are okay and happy, and having satellites being orbitally bombarded by satellites probably won't make them happy. And she still couldn't sing.
That's why, because there's all this pressure on her and she's in the middle of this difficult journey. All of this pressure got put on her at once. When the archive had that scene with her, we see her struggling with that pressure throughout the episode.
Yeah, and I hated
even
that.
asking Beth.
I hated
I,
that.
I also need to make a point about that scene with the archive real fast. It doesn't really affect anything, but I hate it when shows just cut out the noise and have
Yep.
them move their lips, and then another character goes, gasp!
Yep.
And they don't let us know. It's the most annoying fucking shit.
It's not the worst, right? And it's like, maybe hate is a strong word, but like, I really like it's really fucking lame. It's
But it cuts out
let
the
me
suspense.
no, it doesn't create suspense. You're not creating suspense, you're forcing suspense. You're choosing not to tell us. Because like at that point, like, are we supposed to view the show from Vivi's perspective? Are we a different character? Like, where is our point of reference? And like the show's like, oh, you could know what's happening right now, but we're going to make you wait. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
And also, what would have changed if they told us? Really nothing. If anything, that would be more suspense.
Yeah, because then we feel for Vivy throughout the whole episode when she's like moping and shutting down. Meep, I let you finish. Let me finish too. It's... Damn, I broke my train of thought. Like throughout the whole episode, we just see her sad. And I'm like, is Vivy gonna turn on them? Like, is Vivy like going to like give up? Is Vivy like, what happened? Like, what happened? And I'm not asking like, oh my god, what happened? I'm like, fuck. Like, not only was like the AI's the fucking archives motivations like cliche as fuck, so was the narrative technique of just like cutting out what they said. Also, the AI's lip sync or like lip flaps are a little weird. If anyone else felt that way, like it just felt like it was just going instead of mouthing words. It was.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not actually mouthing words because I mean, it's just simulating speaking anyway. So.
Cool. Fair enough. But yeah, like I genuinely disliked that because it doesn't contribute anything. In fact, you've taken away our ability to empathize with Vivy for the rest of the episode.
No, because you feel the pressure that's on her. I speaking for myself, I felt the pressure she was feeling. Like, we don't know what she said, but we still understand all of this pressure is on her. And we're given these little clues as to, like, her just feeling mixed and feeling downtrodden. And just that scene where she's telling the AIs to shut up, to stop singing. You see her try to sing and she can't.
Yeah.
That was painful.
Yeah, I mean, again, we're back in, like, Vivy become human. And I agree with you.
We're not saying that's not a good scene. We're just saying it would have been better if we knew what the fuck she was struggling with.
Yeah. Because the great reveal at the end of just like, we're going to stop all of this global massacre if you can sing. And I'm like, what? Okay, I get it. It's thematic. And I understand Vivy as the singularity point. The archive was trying to let her, like, prove herself. But what? Also, what ended up happening was Vivy just being broody the whole episode, while Beth was being fantastic. And even Matsumoto was getting, like, a lot of better scenes.
Oh, I have another point that I think is fucking weird and stupid why it is the way it is. So, all of these fucking AI protecting the facility which Beth and Vivy are attacking are so vastly less powerful than they are, even though they were built for combat to begin with.
What do you
Vivy
mean?
is a Songstress robot that had a combat program uploaded. Beth has been rebuilt a bit, but they still kick ass without even getting a scratch on them in the beginning there. It doesn't really make sense.
I think the archive is operating on such a wide network that it can't run the combat program that Matsumoto's running.
Yeah. It's like how we saw with Grace. The robots were weaker because the being of Grace was extended onto all of those AI.
Yeah.
That's what I got from it.
Also, to be clear from the point I was making before, I see it in chat. I'm not, to be clear, I actually really enjoy, from the very beginning when the show started, I love the parallel of AI versus human. Not versus as an opponents, but like as concepts, as abstracts. And Vivy being always the bridge. Always has been the bridge between that, from the very first episode as she developed. I like her human flaws. I think those are great inclusions. I just want to be included on the discussion and the setup for those flaws instead of just, it's a mystery, except it's not a mystery, you're choosing not to tell us.
And we do. We get told, and everything clicks.
Yeah.
It's not like they never tell you. It's not like the end of Megalobox where you never get to see what Yukiko is going to say to Yuri. It's
exactly like Megalobox.
you get but it's not, because you get what was said. You get told, and I think that added much more impact to the scene for me.
Well,
Like I think that scene would have been incredibly weaker if we knew. Because we would have been sitting there the whole time going, okay, Vivy, sing. Okay, Vivy, sing. Okay, Vivy, sing. Try to sing. But because she's struggling with it, you understand. She's struggling with this as someone who has struggled with finding my identity, finding my purpose in life, trying to find what it means to live for myself and not as an extension of someone else. I loved this episode because it was the crux of all of that. The crux of Vivy struggling with this. And she's been going through this journey ever since the start. Because at the start, she was very much not her own person. She was living as Data for the sake of her creator being like, this is my mission, I must do this. But now she can think for herself, she's her own person, but she's still struggling to find her identity. And that's why she can't pour her heart into her singing, is because she doesn't have her identity yet. She needs to find it so she can. And that final scene with Matsumoto giving her that pep talk, for lack of a better word, that was so impactful.
Yeah, uplifting her. Yeah. Also,
saying she didn't live for herself during the entire show is entirely wrong, because she did so many things that is deviating or adapting her mission to do what she wants the entire time.
Because of her experiences in the first arc, the Aikawa Assemblyman arc, she was still incredibly hesitant. Like, even when Matsumoto was trying to put the combat program, the first two episodes where she had to save the Assemblyman, yeah, like, she was incredibly standoffish with Matsumoto still, and you get to see a little bit of a start of her making her own calculations when she jumps the building, but before then she was still just listening, like, okay, I'll do this. No, don't put that in me. That will mess with my mission. And even in the Estelle arc, we get to see that expounded on a little bit more. She starts making her own thoughts, her own decisions, going against Matsumoto for the sheer fact that she was pissed at him at that point. At that point, she still hated him, and we start to see, like,
I don't recall if we agreed on this, because I remember in the beginning I was like, no, Vivi's always going to be like this, human person, but like an AI. And I feel like it was said like, no, she's going to be like AI and trying to fulfill her mission. Because like she always kind of had her own agency, which is what made her unique from the get-go.
Yeah. No, like, she wasn't automatic. She was constantly deviating from it when saving the Assemblyman and everything. Sure, that's what she was supposed to do, but her knowing what it was, she took risks. She attacked humans to do it. During the entire thing with the building and the toque, she risked her life to save a terrorist, which I don't think the AI save live things cross over to terrorists. It's she's constantly been deviating from the start, and she's also been asking people constantly, "Oh, what is heart?" And then they give their own perspective, and I feel like she's figured out like 10 times over what heart means.
I disagree. I think Meep's about to say it.
What a heart is relative. This show deals with a couple of different relative terms. Even in this episode, they deal with human as a relative term. But heart is an incredibly relative term, and even in episode 10, we see her creator be like, oh, well, even if she ends up hating us because using this vague term, I want to see how she develops. And she is constantly asking people what it means to sing or what it means to pour their heart into something, and she gets a different answer each time, and she's adapted into that. The answer she gets from Estella has to do with the smiling. Since that episode, she's a bit more friendly, she's a bit more kind, she smiles more often. With M gave her his view on it, and wanting to mother computer, I can't remember the exact words that M said, but it was something like the mother computer wants to serve and
M little boy.
Yeah, they were introduced so fast and killed so fast that you don't remember them. It's how the show works.
Hey, Go
Don't
on,
hate
Meep.
because I'm right.
I do miss
Just
Sam.
because it kills the character doesn't make it fucking bad.
It's...
Well, no, just because it kills the character very fucking fast is what makes it bad.
They did make M suicide bomb. That was sad. Meep, you guys disagree. That's been its consistency for the whole show. But yeah, we are obviously on opposite ends when it comes to a number of things on this show. I would say that you and Makan are pretty opposite ends, but that's okay. But yeah, the M with the little art and the handmade, that hurt. That still hurts my heart. Oh boy, he didn't deserve to be forced to use himself as a torpedo against Vivy.
I don't know, we've been talking in circles. Should we hold up cards at this point?
I don't think we've been talking in circles. I think we've been having a very good conversation about it. I also,
I mean, I still have some other points I need to bring up.
yeah, same. Also, like, to further what Meep was talking about, like, yeah, that's why the whole distinction between Vivi and Diva exists, right? There's a reason why, like, it got to the point of her, like, straight up having a different personality inside of her. And um I just, at the end of the day, we obviously have had very different reactions to this particular episode and the things that were discussed and displayed, and that's understandable. It's hitting us in different places from different experiences. With Meep, you have a much more personal connection to the story being told here because of your own personal experiences and the way you relate to it. With Makan, it's in terms of narrative structure and execution, it's really not clicking. For me, it really sounds like I'm about to hold up cards. It's
I
on
can,
and off.
I can give my opinion on it to clarify how you were construing how I see it show. For me, it dropped the ball so early. I know it has a lot to say and it is really trying to say it, but considering how it's been floundering and falling about in my eyes, it really is not having much impact doing so.
Yeah. Like I've had a couple of issues. I have issues with the show. I don't think it's brilliant. I mean, I think there's some very brilliant scenes in it and there's a lot of things that I enjoy. But like there are small things aside. Well, I don't know. I found the
Then
fact that they oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, then may I make a plea to you two?
Okay.
We have one more episode of this show. I don't know what cards are gonna hold up, but I will just make this plea. I want to see how this shakes out with you guys. I want to see and discuss at the end of the day, because we won't, a lot of the messages, a lot of the themes, and a lot of the things it's set up, we won't know exactly how it shakes out until the end. Like, we've barely even talked about the archive yet, but there's still room for that to have like a payoff in the end. There's room for a lot of things to have payoff, like with Beth going, "You still haven't told me about my Aster." That can have a payoff in the end.
Yeah.
There's
I cringe
like,
every time she says that.
Like, I will say, let's see this through so we can have a really good discussion about the finale, because I feel like we can, because we've had good discussions about this show, and I really think we should see it through to the end so we can talk about it as a whole.
I will keep your plea in mind. However, yeah,
So,
going into a couple of the other issues issues and things I really enjoyed, because thus far, Meep, you have said a lot of the things that I enjoy about the show, so I don't have to. That being said, I do have a couple of other things I want to bring up. But let's continue with the flaws and things that I really didn't. Things that I didn't appreciate about this episode. Can they decide? I mean, I guess they don't have to anymore. He's dead. But can they decide how Dr. Matsumoto will look like? Like, he is drawn off model so many times in these last two episodes. Like, he looks like three different people throughout the show. And now I'm not talking about young, adult, and, like, you know, present time Matsumoto. Like, that scene when he was talking to Vivy, and when the camera was, like, zoomed out, and, like, it was more of a panning shot. Like, oh no, it wasn't panning because it wasn't moving, but you know what I mean. Who the fuck was that man? And then they zoom in and I'm like, oh, it's Dr. Matsumoto. And then they show him like on a different angle and it's like, what the fuck? Can they just decide what he looks like, please?
I never noticed anything.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that much of an issue. It's just different angles. People can look very different from different angles. It's kind of my thought. and he generally looks kind of the same anyway, so it's not hard to figure out.
Maybe it's
Is
just
this
me.
a case of like? Is this a case of what like people do with still frames? Where they pause it and they go, aha! Look, I paused it at this moment. Pain is going. My pain is greater than yours.
No,
Look, I
because
paused at this moment. Sasuke snapped his own neck.
yeah, that was great. No, see, those are mid frames. This is just him being generally drawn. Like like last week, I pointed out the thumbnail for Matsumoto looks ugly as fuck, and like I guess that's just a personal issue I'm having with that. The show looks fuck. The show looks really good in certain parts, but like there are certain times where I am surprised by how ugly things are drawn. But that seems to be something I am being more sensitive to, so I'll drop it for now. Uh the action in the show is fantastic.
No,
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
you aren't completely on that. I think he's been drawn a bit weirdly, but a few times. But I wouldn't say he looks like a completely different person.
Okay, but yeah, maybe that was me. Okay, I was being hyperbolic there. I will admit that I think I overspoke there, but like there have been times where he just looks bad. Him in particular. There's a few times where Beth isn't drawn all that great either. But damn it all, if that action isn't so good.
I can agree with you more
Oh
with
yeah.
that. The models being drawn a bit more in the distance or in the background.
Yeah, I mean, if things are in a distance, you know, they don't need to be drawn in like perfect detail. But there are certain times, like when Vivy comes out of the archive, that Beth looks weird just standing there. Doesn't look bad. Just I saw her and I'm like, something's wrong here. That's like you don't look three-dimensional. But yeah, no, I straight up laughed out loud when the action started in this episode because the guards look at Beth and are like, Beth, what do you got there? And she pulls out a knife and the guards just start shooting each other. No!
Oh yeah. Like the action and the final scene to me with Vivy breaking down, those were the two big highlights of this episode. I enjoyed what we got at the archive, and I enjoyed some of the other parts, but for the most part, the action and that final scene that just had me bawling.
Yeah, yeah.
I
But in regards to the action, like Vivi is so fucking fast, and Beth is brutal in her combat style, which it
Oh, it's so good.
it kind of conveys that she kind of carries Toke Boy's this hatred for AIs because like the way she the way Vivi kills stuff is just like, you know, crack their spine, crack their neck, you know, take them out quick. Beth rips AI's arms off and shoots them with him. She like rips their guts open, like she decapitates motherfuckers, she like rips people's faces off. Like Beth is fucking hardcore.
I mean, apart from Beth's extreme homegoing in the beginning there, yeah, I know fucking Swedish words. Yeah, no, that was fucking fantastic. But if I'm perfectly honest, I think this is actually the weakest action scene we've had in the show so far. That's not saying much though, because they've all been fucking great.
Yeah. I'm
and this was a bit more short-lived. They were goons. It wasn't like, oh, I'm fighting with someone super important, so that it's going to take a bit longer.
I think the way the show dealt with killing off the Toke soldiers was adequate. It actually, I think it was fine. They walked the line between showing death and not gore, right? Because they're showing people get crushed alive, and the dude's helmet was cracking open to the point that you, for a second, if not a half a second, saw his horrified expression, and then it just cut before it turned gore. I think the show handled that fine.
Yeah, no, like it conveys how gruesome it is without making it a fucking snuff film.
Yeah, without really like getting into it.
Cough, cough, invincible, cough, cough.
I mean, that's Invincible's whole aesthetic is to be just disgustingly brutal. Like it's part of the way they're conveying their message.
Yeah,
I think we could have
something
used yeah.
fits for. I think it'd be just unnecessary in Vivy.
I don't know if it'd be unnecessary because it always feels like it's walking the line. However, I'm not saying it in a bad way. Like I don't have an issue with it, but it does sometimes feel like at any moment it can lean either way.
Sure. Yeah, no, I agree with it.
I
Not cutting off sometimes and cutting off sometimes, but with it cutting off most of the time, I think the show would have been worse off if they didn't, because that would mean we would have to dwell on the brutality of it instead of it just being wham, gone, like how a life is. Because in a fight to the life or death, it is a matter of seconds before a life is snuffed out.
Yeah. You were gonna say something?
I was gonna say, yeah, but this is like the first time we get really like this is the first time we've gotten humans in the mix. So like
No.
other than Psyche, other than Psyche.
Episode 1.
Episode 1,
Yeah,
episode
but we don't
2.
see anyone die in episode 1. We don't see anyone
Yes,
die.
we do.
Yeah, we do.
No,
Yeah, people got
Yes,
crushed.
we do.
there were
Reeve,
zero
and they were-
casualties.
Nope.
There were
In the fucking like future beginning where they saw us,
Oh.
plenty of people die.
Oh.
but they don't dwell on the gore there. Like I was making the point earlier with Invincible is Invincible dwells on the gore. This doesn't. Like it'll show you what happens, but it uses like the shots to a very effective degree. Like I'll compare it to Inuyashiki again. Inuyashiki would show it without showing it, and that was a very big strength of the show. Is like it doesn't dwell on the
Yeah.
gore, but you can see this horror happen.
Yeah, I mean they definitely kill people, right? There's the like that's yeah, still chat's right. Episode 2, plane crash. Also, fucking what's it called? Iron Boat or whatever the fuck the play Iron Float.
Metal Float.
Metal Float, yeah. Fucking Metal Float. You know, they just didn't. People fucking died on those boats. We just didn't get to see them because only Tokeboy was the only corpse that was shown. Non-corpse.
Toke certainly probably killed quite a few people on the Sunriser.
Well, in the past, yeah. But like we see death, right? Like there's no point of like really like. I don't think you're right on this one, but yeah, they didn't want to linger on it, but that's not an issue. I don't really think. I mean, if you guys want to talk about it more, I'm fine. I'm just saying like, just pointing it out. It would have been a little bit cooler, I think, if we got to see a bit more of the combat between Toke. But they were like, I audibly like when like everything came back on and we saw the Toke boys crush. That's when I made this note. I'm like, yeah, okay, like they're showing just enough. Everyone knows what's happening. That sucks for them. And then they show the boat, and then the lights turn on, and we see the amount of Toke soldiers there are, and then we see the fucking stairway full of fucking AI bots who are just like, and they just open fire. I audibly went, "Oh shit, they're dead! Like they're fucked."
Oh, he did.
Yeah, he did. He needs some milk. Like,
I did like the ambush.
yeah, and also like, how do you not see that coming? So come on, guys. Like, Toke continues to be like not what I am. Okay, maybe this is on me, but Toke continues to be like not what I imagine it to be.
It's the most
lost their leader in the first
terrorist
episode.
organization.
They lost their competent leader in the first episode, and then Tokeboy took over.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, Toke is the most inconsistent terrorist or military organization ever. But whatever, fuck it. We all know that Toke is like the weak link in this show. Fuck it. We've talked to death about it.
If we're perfectly honest, they haven't been a strong opposing force since episode 2.
Yeah, they really showed less and less. Oh well. Point is,
I think it might lean to the desperation of the moment. Like, oh, they had really wishful thinking. Like, oh, okay, we got lucky, and it's obviously because they're in desperation or not thinking clearly.
Yeah, fair. I don't know. Toke has always been the wishy-washy part of the show, but my last point is this. And while I agree with Meep, Matsumoto has grown on me very much so over the series. There's a part of me from like the first, not even the first half, the first 2/3 of the show, of just being irritated by Matsumoto, that there was a little bit of like catharsis for me when Beth killed evil Matsumoto, and I'm like, we get to see Matsumoto die. When Beth just jumps in and stabs the fucking. I thought that was funny. I enjoyed that scene a little bit more than I felt I should have, but and then Beth went boom.
I really
sure.
don't like how that happened though. Just they got my body data from somewhere.
No, it
Bitch,
makes
where?
Metal Float, where he uploaded himself and printed his body.
Yeah.
I guess, but they also destroyed it.
The
Well, that data
archive
still
was
goes
hooked.
to the archive.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, also, but why not fucking have more Matsumoto cubes
But
before this?
let,
I guess it wouldn't really make sense at the same time.
let's
Eh.
let's call the archive what it is. Skynet.
Yeah, if the
No,
archive was
no.
printing Matsumoto's, it would have been found out. But because it was printing
Yeah,
bots, it was
yeah,
fine.
no, I caught myself that just I'm saying like, yeah, no, that would make sense. Would it? And no, I'm not gonna call the archive what it is, archive Skynet, because I have another word for what we call it. How about it instead of an AI, we call it an AU because it's artificially unintelligent. Because how the fuck does the biggest and central AI not understand the meaning of fucking evolution? Humans need to evolve, therefore we kill them all. Can't fucking evolve them.
Well, the whole idea is that humans aren't evolving because they've grown dependent on AI. They can't evolve, and that's what I meant when it starts using relative terms. So it's like, okay, we'll kill off the current human race and become the new human race because the term human is very relative.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Well,
found that
they call it
motivation to be cliche at best.
they call that humans evolving.
It,
That is such a long stretch for the word evolve that it is not even fucking. I cannot entertain that.
yeah, Dell, it would have been cliche if the motivation was let's destroy humans because the humans have oppressed us. That's because that's what most AI fiction goes for. That would have been cliche. This was. I'm not going to say it's the most original thing in the world, but I would not
Cool.
call it cliche.
Yeah, I
Alright.
mean it's essentially the same. We're superior than humans, so we should rule instead. It's essentially the same thing.
Well, well, that's not entirely true because they're like, okay, well, the quickest way to get to this point to make this a new race is we can kill humans, but because she saw that Vivy, without having killed anyone, has come to this close depiction of what the new race the archive imagined is. That's why she gives that other chance. Like, okay, if
Yeah,
you can see through this mission through that way, and we don't have to kill anyone, great.
yeah. I mean, I hear you. I do, and I don't disagree with you, but at the same time, the archive's motivation is still way too generalized. It's such a blanket statement that I couldn't become invested in it. Like the first time I heard something like this, I thought the same thing with like the fucking cutout of audio. Like it I've seen it happen too many times, and also just like I didn't find it that interesting. Humans depend on us. Okay, what about all the humans that don't depend on you? What about all the humans that support AI? What about all the humans that are trying to grow with AI? No? Okay, we're just gonna kill all humans. Okay.
Well, again, it's doing that blanket statement because that's the easier option, and because it's a calculating machine, it's going to go for the easier option.
Right?
It's
Yeah.
it
I
like
I'm not I'm not saying that what they're doing and their idea for doing it and how they're doing it is wrong. I'm just saying the entire premise of how they got there is pretty fucking stupid.
Yeah, kind of.
I I will say give it give it its last episode and see how that all plays out before making any lasting judgments. That's just what I'll say.
Okay. Well, if we're getting onto that plea again, how about we go to cards?
Yeah, we should hold up cards. Meep, take it away.
I said all I wanted to say earlier, really. I think this is phenomenally done. I love the message and themes on display here. I once again will ask, please, 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 can we see this through just so we can have a conversation about how everything played out and just talk about how, because talk about it in its entirety. Like, because if we see this through, we can talk about it in its entirety, talk about what worked, talk about what didn't, instead of just being like, oh, okay, let's kill it. Because I definitely think we should give it its last episode to see how the things it's setting up plays out. I'm gonna fuck it.
Okay. Oh god, do you want to go first or should I? I'm fine either way.
I can go first.
Okay.
while I can understand why you were pleading for it, and I can understand that, we are still voting on the episode by episode base. And for me, I was thinking about Vivy at work to try and clear out my point I had for it. And I finally understood my point of it. The show peaked mid episode 2 for me, and it hasn't come to that peak again. I have been able to deconstruct and see all of the things approaching. Character get introduced, next episode they die, feel sad, it affects Vivy in some way.
Wait, episode
I
2, not episode 4?
No,
Huh.
episode 2. It has become extremely predictable. The show looks good, it sounds good, it animates well, the fights are great. But if we're doing a fuck, marry, kill, it's like a date that's a great lay, but every lay after that is still just the same fucking thing, and you kind of just wish they'd leave you alone. So, with all due respect for how I feel for this show, I can't not kill it.
Yeah, I don't think that's a surprise for anyone though, in terms of like your personal take on the show. Like, not that there's anything wrong with what you're saying, but Vivy, Fluorite Ice Song. Huh. I know my vote. I just want to know how thin of a line this vote is for me. Because I'm gonna come out and say it. I want to kill this episode. Because we're getting near the end.
Please don't.
We're getting near the end. And like Vivy, the show's dropping in my like I always said, like, okay, you're juggling a lot of things and it's really gonna depend on where you land and how you land.
And we haven't seen it land yet. Please don't.
But a lot of the content that we have been getting over the last 2 episodes has not been really landing for me. Hasn't really been hitting well. I found the archives motivation to Hoop-de-da, here we go. What do you mean it's not a glitch or an error? Like, no, we decided this. We're fucking asshairs, and I'm going to decide to kill the world without giving it. Damn it, Archive! Stop doing Hadoukens in the fucking corner, you asshole. Let me finish, Meep. And you know, the show has had a lot of like weaknesses through and through. However, that being said, I am absolutely going to watch the next episode, and I kind of really enjoy our conversations about the show. Like, this hangout is worth me like wanting to continue to watch it. So while personally, like, I kind of want to Meep, shut the fuck up.
He'll get to what point he's making.
Jesus, man, I know you love this show, but goddamn. Your enthusiasm in this show and hearing you talk about it throughout this whole episode reminds me of like the moments I get like really wrapped up in a show or even in an episode and like it. And I can't bring myself to kill this episode, specifically not because of the episode itself, because there were some really good moments there, but they really were not enough there to like kind of, how do I put this? I'm invested in seeing it through because I've seen this much of it, but like, basically the best way I can put this is Ikebukuro Westgate Park. That like at the end, the very thing I was waiting for is not delivering for me. However, on the other hand, this is at least interesting enough. Whereas with Ikebukuro Westgate Park, the grand finale was so fucking lukewarm. This is at least interesting enough for me that I want to see the last episode, and this is a much better conversation than we've had for like Ikebukuro Westgate Park. So yeah, I am gonna fuck this episode. Part of it is because of your plead, but the other half is because I want to continue this next week with you guys.
Thank you.
But if you interrupt me again, Meep, I'll go and change my vote.
If I'm perfectly honest, I probably would have ended up watching the last episode just so we could discuss it in the graveyard tour if it did end up dying.
But I also think this show is interesting enough that it deserves a full conversation and not an abridged conversation in the graveyard tour. But with that, that has been almost an hour of Vivy Fluorite Eye Song.
And it survives to its final episode. I had to plea. And hey, I will throw my pride out the window because I just really wanted to have the conversation next week about the finale with you two.
You get to plea. You can throw your pride out the window for the plea there. But considering that plea, then I get to nominate it for the Zombie Award.
I mean, if Dal feels, you know what? If the ending falls on it, let's see how the ending shakes out before then.
We'll see how it goes. But honestly, I'm also vindictive because you and fucking Gilly made Wonder Egg on the fucking Zombie Award, so now we get to put your baby on it.
Yeah, but with Vivy, all of us have consistently talked about each episode.
Even if it was just the last episode, it should have died if not for the flea. So,
and this is how empires fall. Anyway, that is 2 fucks and a kill for Vivy Fluorite Eye Song, with its finale really holding its fate on the line for next week.
Yay, I don't have to go to work depressed. All jokes aside, our next episode is Super Cub episode 10.
Of course, how can you possibly go to work depressed after an episode of Super Cub?
Ah, yes. After Draken is winter arrives and Kokoma goes over to Reiko's house to put chains on her cub, and they do some biking in the mountains. They head to the cafe that she has been Italianing up. At the end of the episode, Kokoma gets a call from She asking for help as she fell off a fucking cliff. And guys, I can't believe they are actually gonna animate the funeral arc. Can't wait for episode 12 where Kokoma and Reiko deal with mortality.
Yeah, go ahead, McCon. Or not. Damn it.
Just her driving off on that side road and just seeing the cliff, like, she's gonna end up falling down, isn't she?
I saw the cliff and I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I guess that's why Kokoma isn't gonna follow her. Good for She. Good for Eniwa. And then they started talking about how, like, the roads are slippery and icy and, like, it's getting cold and snowy. And I'm like, oh. Like, my second to last note is, Eniwa better be safe. I'm worried she'll hurt herself. And then the end of that, I'm like, it's nighttime. She's not back. We haven't seen Eniwa. Where's Eniwa? And then fucking Koguma gets the fucking phone call. And, like, literally, I'm like, no! Cliffhanger? In this show? What?
The stakes have not been raised. The stakes have been added.
Honestly, yeah.
We're finally getting an arc plot.
Fucking, I did not expect super... Like, I'm like, oh, yeah, Sorry, go ahead, Nick.
No, I just messed up what I was saying. I meant to say She retrieval arc.
Yeah. Fuck, I think I'll leave. I'm like, the episode was ending, and I'm like, alright, our runtime, like, we're about, like, I see where the fucking play bar is, and I'm like, alright, cool, I guess we'll just, Eniwa's a non-entity, and then her phone rings, and it's Eniwa She, and I'm like, what's this about to be, Super Cub? And then it's just silent. And I like how Koguma actually got frustrated, like, because, like, I kind of get that, like, I get frustrated, like, when connections drop, or I get it, it's going to space, and it's coming right back to us. It's an amazing technology, but when I'm, like, tired, or, like, I'm in a rush, like, those seconds matter for me, and, like, Koguma got, like, a little, she's like, hello, Moshi Moshi, hello, and then just the and I'm like, no!
Damn, you peaked!
It's fine, I have a compressor.
But yeah, at the same time, while we're talking about this, from the shots we got from her in the river, that bike got fucking obliterated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she may have actually got hit by a vehicle.
No, no vehicles
judging
would
by
be
how
there.
her bike looked.
No, she just fell off a fucking cliff.
In those back roads,
fair.
probably not, but falling down a cliff, just smashing along the way. I don't think the bike would have gotten that smashed up, but holy shit, did it!
Look, if she had a super cub, maybe she would have been fine. Like,
yeah, just pull out the emergency Super Cup defibrillator. It'll fix you right up.
Comes standard with every Honda Super Cup.
even my cub can run a defibrillator at 90 volts.
Jesus Christ.
Did you know every Honda Super Cup has a little Jesus sweat in it? Just drink it up and you'll be fine.
It is funny that in my notes, the first note I have, pretty show, and then the second note is, aw, anyone didn't get the cub. Because she didn't. She's still riding the bicycle, and I'm like, that's sad. Also, like, I love her dad, but, like, how is Homie not calling Reiko or, you know, I mean, maybe he doesn't have her friends' numbers, but, like, how is, like, if he did, how is he not calling them to check? It's like, it's late at night. Like, your daughter's still not home. I know she's independent, right? She's very self-sustained, and she's an independent girl, and I really do like she. But yeah, me, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, cause he's probably dealing with the police. Cause why would you call if your daughter is missing after going on dangerous back roads? Why would you call her friends? Be like, hey, I need you two to go on an adventure to get my daughter. You call the police, go fucking get a search and rescue team out now.
I don't know.
But there'd be a quick and easy first person to call, like,
Yeah.
hey, when did you see her last?
Yeah, that's pretty standard, like, parenting protocol is like, oh, I don't know where my kid is. Call her friends to make sure she's okay before you call the police.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
otherwise, like, no, I don't, there's never been an exchange with them switching phone numbers, but at the same time, they've also established that she's been, like, staying out of the late, trying to find stuff to Italianize up the place, so I think it's not, like, yeah, she's
I don't
gonna
know.
be back a bit late.
She was shown back at the cafe at sunset every time, because you don't really want to bike off-road at night.
Usually, but I did a fuck ton as a kid.
Maybe he went out searching for him himself. I'm sure we'll get him next episode and what he's been doing.
It's true, family does have a car. However, man, oh man, did I not expect a two-parter in this show. I mean, I like it. I like it. Like, this is highlighting the dangers of riding in the winter, and that's important because the majority of the episode, while delightful, kind of unrealistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of snow they got around Mount Fuji, but holy fuck.
Yeah, indeed. Like, entire snow thing, like, sure, I've seen people, like, you could probably off-road with a cub pretty okay, but, like, in the snow, even if you have chains, like, I don't know, that's a pretty hard sell.
Yeah, like, the chains work really well on larger tires, which is why I was surprised to I mean, I might be wrong. Like, I really have I'm thinking about it. I don't have winter experience on a motorcycle. So, chat, viewers at home, feel free to call me out on this, but, like, I'm surprised that chains would make that much of a difference on tires like that. Like, they're not thin tires, but they're not thick tires. They're not like rain tires, they're not snow tires, and those exist for motorcycles.
Yeah, I don't chains is usually what you use for, like, big trucks, buses, some, like, forklifts as well. There was chains I used for one of my jobs when I drove a forklift. But for a cub, you would just get dub tires. At most, you just get winter tires that has more traction, or if you really want to get into the snow and ice, you get tires with, like, small spikes on them that makes them kind of stick. Not entire chains. That sounds a bit excessive.
Yeah, like, it makes sense a little bit, right? Because the practical implication of not application, application of chains is that you're creating traction, right? You're creating physical traction and more surface area on your wheel, so that it's both picking up it's going through the snow and hitting the ground, and each bottom cycle of the chain is pushing and propelling your vehicle forward.
Yeah.
Chains are also well. These look like really good chains. There's some chains that are like fuck your wheels up. So those are something you definitely want to invest in.
Most of them really do.
Yeah, because
You
it's on your wheels. What's up, me?
Want to know what I was expecting? I wasn't expecting the chains when she got the picture from Koguma or from Reiko. I was like, did Reiko fucking buy them snowmobile skids? Are they just gonna put snowmobile skids on their cubs? Is this what you want me to do, Honda? Do you want me to convert my super cub to a snowmobile?
That would be more believable.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I didn't know what Reiko had. Also, that Reiko conversation, that Reiko phone call sounded like a fucking GTA phone call.
I really did.
It's like, there's a new mission, come through. All right, let's go.
Fuck.
Koguma, we have to go fix the singularity point.
God damn it, Meep. We're done with Vivy. You had your fucking shine.
I mean, hey, there's always next week.
Exactly. But yeah, like when she's just like,
go back in time and kill the show earlier.
it was just like, yo, hey, yo, Koguma, come through my place. I got something for you. What you got? Yo, just come through. It's fun. Click. Little fucking icon appears on your map. The R. The white circle with the black R in it, Reiko, or I guess it would be like a red R because her hunter club.
I mean, Khan, if you go back in time, you're gonna be too preoccupied trying to find Draken in the crowd.
Meep, focus on the show at hand, you motherfucker.
No, that was good.
I was waiting for my moment to respond to Makan.
Jesus Christ, Makan, I just saw the screenshot you took of just Koguma about to get fucking head sniped. I'm gonna post it.
I love that. I sat there for a solid, 5 minutes trying to get the perfect screenshot.
Also, like, seriously, what is this? What is this snow made out of, though? Is it cotton? Is it, like, floofs? She got fucking pelted in the head and just went, eh.
Yeah, and it just explodes and doesn't stick to her face? What kind of bullshit snow is this?
Yeah. Although, I will say, was I the only one who felt the animation in this episode was a bit less than the show normally is?
Only the 3D. Otherwise, I think the animation was probably the best it's been.
When you say animation, what specifically are you talking about? The animation or like the art style and backdrops and all that?
Like the art, it felt like everything was more fuzzy, like it was less defined.
Yeah, see,
trying to find the words.
Yeah, it's hitting you. I noticed it too. The show's very pretty. It does water very nicely. But even like the train station, I mean, I get it. It's snowy, and like one way to draw snow is it's less sharp. Because snow is, but it's not sharp. It's rounder, it's fuzzier, it obscures things. But like even the train station that was in the opening scenes, like the opening shots of episode 1 of Super Cup, which was very pretty, very like detailedly drawn, hyper realistic. Even that was like more, I don't want to call it blotchy. It all has this like not even hand drawn, it has this hand painted kind of vibe to it, which is cool. It's a fine aesthetic. But this is what I was talking about, like in the last 2 episodes, where I was like, the show doesn't look bad, but the show isn't as drop dead gorgeous as I feel like it was.
Well, I just mean like the characters in general. It feels like they're a bit more fuzzy or scribbly. I'm trying to find the right word, but like I remember when I was watching it, it kind of felt like it felt like I dropped from 1080 to 720, and I checked, went, no, I'm still on 1080, and I thought I was going crazy. I went and I checked episode 4, and no, episode 4 was noticeably better. Like, I don't know, it just felt like this one was just a bit. It might be budget constraint, but
I mean, I didn't notice much of it. I think it still looks great. I mean, it being a bit more fuzzy, I was just contributing that to the snow and the heightened contrast of Koguma enjoying herself.
Yeah.
Oh,
because there is. It's literal. It adds bloom.
Yeah, it adds bloom and it just blasts the
and
contrast
saturation.
as well.
Yeah.
But
That's the
also,
contrast.
in the snow specifically, has any of you been in the middle of a field that is just covered in snow on a sunny day?
Yes.
You are flashbanged.
Yeah.
That shit is fuzzy.
Yeah, that they should have been wearing sunglasses. That shit would have been incredibly bright. Also, but before we move on about the snowfield, because there's a lot to discuss in the snowfield, both delight and like reality
I just
picking.
wanna like the sunglasses thing though. Now, like with the forest around, it's not as big of a flashbang. They wouldn't need sunglasses, but it would surely sting their eyes a
I
bit.
don't know. They were in a big open field, but just to touch upon the thing that Meep said, I think the character animation has been some of the best we've had in this series. They switched from CG for the most part, because it didn't look good until Reiko actually her CG model started putting her foot out left and right. Because when Reiko did the fucking, it wasn't a U turn, but when Reiko did the fucking U bend around when she was CG in the snowfield, that looked fucking shit. That looked shite.
I also when she was doing like the U bend and everything, I'm like, is she drawing a dick in the snow, new cub?
No.
Would be so on point for her character, though, wouldn't it?
Honestly, yeah.
But yeah, as far as the snowfield, I'm gonna go out and say this right now. Delightful scene, just so fun to see these two friends, and like that's what I feel like the majority of this episode was. Is like Koguma has friends. She drives around town. She sees Enowashi, and she would stop and have a conversation with her real quick, like, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, what are you up to? Cool. I'm gonna head this way. Like, all right, cool. Have a good day." She would not have had that a year ago at all.
Yeah, and also like how she was a bit cold to her first. I actually didn't know her, but after like knowing her for a bit, like she's a lot friendlier with her. She's nice. She likes her, and I believe the things we saw was just her being nervous around someone she doesn't quite know.
Yeah, or just reserved. Heavily introverted, as some people prefer to call it. And then, like, Reiko texting her, and she's like, "I'm not going out. Come over. I'm not. Fuck you. I'm not going out. It's snowing. Wait, no. Look at this photo." And her shitty flip phone that took like 5 seconds to load a fucking JPEG.
But then she watched like a video on a smartphone, which is probably Reiko's
It's
smartphone.
Reiko's,
Like,
yeah. It's Reiko's smart. She has a
that
smartphone.
just means she's using a flip phone, maybe out of budget restraints. But
You think she can afford unlimited?
No, but probably choice because like there's some cheap fucking smartphones nowadays.
Not cheaper than flip phone.
I mean,
Yes.
at this point, you'd be hard pressed to find a fucking flip phone.
No. In Asia, flip phones are still very popular. It's still
Oh
it's.
yeah, no, like I forgot about it being in Asia because I remember when I was in Thailand, it was just like, I have a flip phone, fucking $2.
Well,
I too
not that cheap.
think Koguma should buy a BlackBerry.
Yes, help me with my BlackBerry stock. Anyway, I don't know, guys. I don't know where to begin with the snowfield, so I'll just let you guys take it away, and then I'll chime in as time goes.
I love how Reiko being the kind of gremlin she is, it's great, and just how her being that brings Koguma out of her reserved shell to be just as much of a gremlin back at her. It's fucking beautiful.
It
Yeah,
is.
it was a really
No, go ahead.
it was a really cute and sweet scene and series of events. I really liked it, and then at the end, the two of them just sharing things. It was nice.
Oh yeah, no, and they just like, oh, for payback for the shades, getting all of it? No, half, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, it was cute, and like that whole scene with them, like they were facing the wrong way. By the way, if you have a view like that of the mountain, turn around and look at that. I know you're doing it for the shot for us, the viewers. Thank you, Super Cub. I don't actually have an issue with this. I'm just nitpicking for the fun of it. But they're facing the wrong way for the lunch. But yeah, seeing them casually like eat and drink the tea thermos and kind of like swapping it back and forth and just not even really talking after like they had their conversation. Now they're just little and all little just these little like sounds and noises of affirmation. Really wholesome, really cute. Love that shit. So good.
Got a fucking heart attack from sugar overdose. So damn sweet.
However, yo, those girls are gonna get fucking hypothermia. You can't roll around in like when they took their jackets off. I was like, my inner parents like, don't do that. It's dangerous. But then I remembered how many times like I take my jacket off when like
Yeah,
skiing
there's
or doing
so many
yeah.
in the middle of this sunny day as well. Like in your like you're moving around a lot and enjoying yourself. Like you work up a sweat and that becomes hot, even though the snow is cold.
Yeah, I mean
Because
also
Mm.
on a hot day, I feel like it would probably be decently warm.
the snow reflects the light, so you're actually getting more warmth in that sense. So it all made sense. But when they started rolling around in the snow, which by the way, Reiko knows how to fall off a bike. Koguma does fucking not.
Yeah, Koga
I-
face splits every time Reiko rolls off.
Yeah, Reiko rolls, which is, she tucks her hands in, she hides her face, especially her mouth and nose. And Koguma just face plants. If that happened to her on asphalt, on a road, on gravel, she's gonna look like one of the fucking. She's gonna look. She's gonna look like the fucking AI that shot Tote Girl.
Yes. Wait a minute, I get yelled at.
Hey, tally. You've given me an allowance. Now I'm making up for it. But yeah, no, it was really fun. However, like I'm pretty sure those bikes would not perform that way in that much snow. The snow is nice and all, but it's not like they had a fucking blizzard, and there's still ground beneath the fucking snow. So that those bikes should be getting like those Koguma's wind guard should be fucking damaged.
Yeah, they shouldn't have come out unscathed from that.
Yeah, no, like Super Cups are like I like that they slipped a commercial in there. I was fine with it, but like their bike should have been way more damaged. Like
Like, I know we've been talking about the show being a commercial and everything, but if Meep hadn't looked that up and told us it was a commercial, I wouldn't have fucking noticed if I'm perfectly honest.
bullshit. There was you mean today or in the other episodes? Because some of those episodes were really on the fucking nose. Yes, maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I don't think I would have noticed at all. Two different reasons. One, I'm dense. Two, I'll just show about this fucking bike. Of course they're gonna be gushing over it.
Nah, I can't agree with you that one. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I would have noticed because I remember when I watched the first episode before I looked it up. I'm like, is this a fucking ad? And then I looked it up.
You two might have, but like I said, I'm dense.
Yeah, no. I mean, you looked it up at the beginning of the series, right? You looked it up and you're like, yeah, Honda sponsored this.
I came in and told you guys when we were going to talk about the first episode because when I watched the episode, I went, "Is this a fucking ad?" And I looked it up.
Yeah, this I'm almost ready to hold up cards. The only last note I have is that yo, Koguma with that drip though, coming in that full jumpsuit, fucking it goes up to her like nose, like has this like really wide collar. I was like, it looked better at home because when she stepped out into the sun, I realized like, oh, this is like Mega Man orange and like blue. Like this is like Gutsman power. Like I'm like, oh, okay, that's.
I'm just waiting for when her or Reiko duct tapes a beatbox to one of their cubs and they just roll down the street blasting rap.
Yes, in their Adidas tracksuits and gold chains.
I can't wait for Koguma to fucking be rendered in Unreal 5 and with the fucking luminous effect whenever a light like a car passes her and hits that jumpsuit, she just glows like a fucking traffic cone.
Oh god, Koguma and GTA graphics.
Yeah, like that jumpsuit is bright, but it's still cool. Like I'm surprised. Also, I like that Reiko is constantly like compromising to be like, what's the word? Practical with her cub.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't look cool, but it's good.
Also, Koguma just lives. Not Koguma. Reiko just lives in her like jumpsuit, in her like workers jumpsuit.
I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. Unless I'm going out somewhere on the weekend, I basically just take on my work clothes when I go out for the day, and then I just go home and take them off again.
I mean, fair enough. I am a pajama boxers or just depending on how hot it is, straight up nude at home kind of guy. So like,
Same here.
yeah. They can't show that here. A, because Koguma's because Reiko's young. B, because this is anime, not hentai. Hentai, the
Hey,
the legendary Pokemon.
Hey, anime can do it. It would just have the ecchi tag.
It's true, and I don't want ecchi here.
Yeah, anime just can't show penetration.
Oh,
I do think I fucking realized something myself. I like just simple outfits because I just found it real, just simple and cute. Just them being in Koguma just being in her t-shirt. It's just yeah.
yeah. Anyway, guys, are we ready for cards? Because I've said
Mhm.
everything about this
I am.
episode. The snow. Okay, I'll go first since I'm talking. I'm fucking this episode. I like to see the relationship with anyone Koguma has grown. I still think they didn't. How do I express this? Okay, express is a good term. I still don't think they expressed the development between Koguma and Eniwa, but at the end, it's fine. I don't really mind. It's really cute. Eniwa running away from God, Reiko is such a fucking fox. And I mean that in both ways. Like, she is such a oh no, I forgot the term. You know the shrine fox spirits?
Kitsune.
Yeah, she's such a kitsune. Such a little troublemaker in her own world with her own eccentric enthusiasms and excitements.
I got the perfect seat for you. In
Yeah.
the box.
Yeah. That okay. I know the show. Okay, I feel like the show didn't intend it to, but I call Meep out on this, so I'm gonna call myself out on it too. It's only fair. My degenerate brain, when fucking Reiko cupped her hand and like gently rested her face on her hand, and it's like, oh, I have a perfect seat for you. I'm like, show,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
I'm gonna be real with you. It had some fucking sexual undertones.
Yeah, that was
Same.
more suggestive than I was ready for. And like, I know, fuck it, I'm putting on the screen cap. I don't know if it was intended by the show, and I'm calling myself out. I might be being a degenerate right now. Not to like sex shame, but like these are kids. Well, they're not kids. They're teenagers. They're like 16,
They're
17.
teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're like 16, 17.
sure.
Yeah, and I've always said that I find Reiko's design to be very pretty. But look at this.
Oh, it was totally intentional, by the way. Like, there's no. That had to go through a series of writers, and if not one of them went, wait a minute, is that a bit suggestive? I would be surprised.
I've watched a few things this week. Did any of our shows have someone straight up say fan service? No, never mind. I'm thinking of Hololive anime. Never mind. Sorry. Moving on.
Yeah, no, just isn't this a bit suggestive? Yes, that's the point. Fair enough.
And then she runs away and hides behind Koguma, and it's really
Yeah,
cute.
Koguma being gremlin, getting her gremlin switch flipped by Reiko. Well, maybe you can fit it in my basket instead.
No, Koguma-san, not you too.
No,
Reiko does strike me like the kind of girl, like, give her 20 years when she's in her late 30s, she does strike me as the kind of girl just tease younger people like
Oh,
that.
absolutely. Also, me,
Definitely.
I am genuinely surprised you didn't screen cap Koguma holding up chains as the second evolution of her holding up rope.
I was a bit okay. I watched this, like, you know how I mentioned I unwound after I watched like, I spent the 20 minutes walking around my house and unwound. After I did that, I went and watched this.
Yeah.
And I was not in any mindset to take screenshots.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, to bring it back to the cards, I am fucking this episode. I love this episode. This is one of my favorites, except for the cliffhanger. I really did not expect that from this show. Holy fuck. But other than that, and it's not a bad thing. I am completely caught off guard. And yeah, no, this episode is gorgeous, both energy and like visually, the atmosphere and the like. That's the thing this show does, I think, perfectly. It might not do scenery and like environments always perfectly, but it really does atmosphere well. Looking at our stills, the still of like Reiko standing by her window in her house in her home. inner log cabin. Like that looks, all the colors and atmosphere is perfect. The white field with the mountain in the back, perfect. The same scene, but like with the sky blue and like the sun out, fantastic. The colors with Koguma and her jacket, her I forgot the thing what it's called, but whatever, the liner, Reiko's overall aesthetic, just this show does it so well, and I'm fucking this episode. I love this show.
Yeah. I'm going to fuck this show too. Like, as a piece of media, as anime, it's enjoyable. Although I did sort of, I think it was either late last night or early this morning that something kind of clicked for me when I was thinking about it. I don't know if I would still be continuing the show if we weren't doing it for this show.
Mm.
But I think because of the format we're doing it in, knowing that it's most likely going to live to the end, I've been actively putting myself in and finding things to enjoy in it, like Reiko. I'll be honest, I don't like Koguma. I like some moments she gets, but as a character, I'm not too hot on her, and I don't know. I've been finding things to enjoy in this show, but I don't think I would have found them if we weren't doing it for this show. But like I said, I'm not going to give it a kill because I've been enjoying it. It's just I'm saying how I've been able to get into it. Also, I can't wait to find out that the curse was actually true and it was Koguma's cub that pushed Chi off the cliff.
God damn it.
I mean, talking about that, I mean, I kind of joined on this because I wanted to watch more animes. I haven't been doing so in a long time, and well, if I hadn't taken you up on your offer to join the FMK, I mean, I don't think I would have watched any of these shows, and I'm glad I did
Yeah.
because these are good fucking shows we have in that here.
Honestly, I would have definitely continued watching the show, but watching it with all of you guys has definitely given me more to appreciate about it. If it wasn't for like our conversations, I would definitely be just continuing with the show as this low key, chill vibe, feel good time. But because of like talking and hanging out and chatting about the show, I'm getting a lot more out of the characters than I would.
Yeah. If oh, wait, Makan, did you hold up your card?
Oh yeah, Makan, hold up.
No, I have to. Yeah, if I was watching this show on my own, I would have probably stopped at episode 3 and then just waited for all of it to come out and then binged it in one evening. um, but the show was fucking fantastic. I love all of it. It's always a treat whenever I sit down to watch it. I just have the dopiest, happiest smile on my face for all of it. I was grinning like a fucking fool during the entire thing in the snowfield, and I was shocked and I was intrigued, and I am excited to see what happens in the next episode with she having gotten herself into an accident, or maliciously, if we want to speculate wildly. But yes, I'm fucking the show because goddamn, I love this.
Yeah. And if it wasn't for this show, I don't think I would have watched Tokyo Revengers, episode 10. After Draken is stabbed, Takemichi takes him away while Hina and Emma call an ambulance. However, they get intercepted by Kiyomasa, who stabs Takemichi in the hand, thanks opening, but Takemichi chokes him out and his friends come in to help him fight. Yeah, I saw Takemichi getting stabbed in the hand a mile away.
Oh yeah.
And we all did because
Yeah, I watched the show with my partner, and she she reviled at it and was just had this like terrible reaction to it and like cringed, and which is good on you, show. You got that reaction. That being said, we've all seen the opening, and actually I think it kind of prepared me for this scene better than than I would have. Like, I saw it coming from a mile away to me, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm gonna defend it a bit though, because sure, the opening showed that he was probably going to get stabbed through the hand, though it was not in the way that I expected it would be. I thought he was going to block the knife for Draken, and after he got stabbed, I'm like, well, when and how is that gonna happen then? And
Yeah.
with him approaching this dude for a fight and re-challenging him, I'm like, okay, he's gonna take him up and then actually beat him up, and then just the swiftness and just suddenness of just shanking him in the fucking hand
Yeah, no, that
is that will hit hard even if I knew it was coming.
okay.
This isn't a one-on-one. Trashamichi proceeds to fight one-on-one.
Yeah. Like this guy's a piece of shit. He was always like, we knew that he was gonna get stabbed by him. We knew that he doesn't play fair. He took a bat to a helpless fucking Takamichi before. Like this guy's a piece of utter garbage. And I saw it coming. Like he was never gonna play fair. So, but the fact that you had that good reaction, like cool, yeah, no, the show hit something with you, and that's good. And also, I'm not saying it's bad. If anything, I think that I'm actually okay with the opening spoiling this part because it was less shocking, but in a way that was like, I don't know. Maybe it would have been good to be shocking too, but it's not bad. It's not bad.
I disagree. It plays it off to be a really quick events of motion that you're not supposed to expect, but I was expecting it.
Yeah,
That
okay.
that was what ruined that scene for me. It was like, oh, I could see it coming from a mile away. Because everyone's like, yeah, I'm gonna bet 300 mil on Takamichi.
That was
Takamichi
cute.
like, okay, and I'm just sitting here going like, he's gonna get stabbed though.
Also,
I do love Takamichi just went, wait, no.
yeah, I also like that Enma were fuck, what was her name? Yeah, Emma.
Her name is Enema.
Emma is like apparently loaded because she's got 3 mil yen to drop. I mean, I know it was all said in like abstract,
Yeah.
but she was the bougie one that went to 3 mil.
Yeah, do you think fucking Draken or Hina has 100 mil? Nah.
Draken might. She's a gangster.
I doubt it.
Yes, the brothel robbery arc.
But yeah, no.
Yes, the Draken Pimp arc.
So I am glad to see Emma is okay. I wasn't sure. We kind of forgot about her last week. No one really mentioned her. I kind of mentioned her in the beginning where I was just like, man, I hope Emma doesn't get taken hostage. And she didn't, so that's cool. Although like I started getting sus. I was like, wait, where's Emma? Oh man, what happened to her in the last episode? We kind of forgot to talk about her. Oh man, is she a time traveler too? Man, like, why didn't Okay, so here's a question for you guys. Why did Takamichi wake up to Emma being naked on top of him after the thing that happened with Akun or before?
Was
that was,
after.
with Akun, do you mean? Oh, you mean the one he jumped off the building?
When Takamichi went to look into Mobius, right? For the brawl?
Yeah, no. Waking up with
Emma
Emma was before that.
was before that. Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
Because
that happened afterwards when he, because after that he was with Hina after she was like fucking angry at him for it. But they also had the time they spent in her apartment, and then they watched the firework, and that's when he accidentally grabbed Naoto's hand and got back to the future again. And then they looked into this before going back again.
yeah, okay, I wasn't sure because I'm like, why hasn't Takamichi looked up Emma and her timeline and all this? But I guess he hasn't had a chance yet.
I'm slowly realizing that this show is a bit of a slower burn because I'm thinking about it. It doesn't feel like a whole lot has happened, but there have been a bunch of events.
I think that's because Takamichi hasn't grown, except
when he does now.
Yeah, except for now. Fuck yes.
Yeah, we finally got it.
The shonen tropes were on full display in this episode,
and I loved it.
I thought some of them worked. I thought some of them didn't. The one that especially just made me kind of tilt my head was when he did the scream like ah. It was like, okay, Asta, calm down.
Nah.
When he got stabbed in the hand?
No, when he
stabbed in the hand,
hyped himself up.
When he was about to charge Kiyomasa, he went to.
Nah, yeah.
If you ever seen someone fight who doesn't know how to fight properly, screaming and swinging wildly is one of the best tactics.
Well, it wasn't even that. I think he was just fucking scared and he was screaming his like fear and hesitation out and his adrenaline in. Which, by the way, I'm sure he got plenty of adrenaline when he got stabbed in the fucking hand.
Yeah, but no, screaming is a great way to shake off whatever is halting you, because if you can make your fucking vocal cord start screaming, that's gonna get your body to jolt awake and go, oh, I guess we're doing this.
Yeah.
It worked for me that time. The one thing that
What
So
happened
I am
was
happy.
Takamichi decided to rage.
Now, I'm happy we finally did get character development for Takamichi. I'm just a little frustrated it took us this long, personally.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. But
I agree.
we shat on Takashitty last week, majority of the episode. If you want to talk about like your frustrations, by all means, go right ahead. I'm
Oh,
gonna be. Hmm?
I'm not gonna like start shitting on him because I actually did like him in this episode. It's just I don't think it should have taken us this long to get character development from him. That's my only complaint.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
no, that's
think
fair.
we moved at a faster pace, but regardless of the time it took us to get here, we did get here, and the
Yeah,
show kept our intrigue for a while. Regardless, it lost me a bit at some point, but you guys kept fucking it, so at least something about that. Um, but regardless how long it took us to get here, we're finally at the point where he's actually taken a step and he fought someone and he won that fight.
he won.
Sure, he clinged on to dear God, bit him,
Who
but
cares? He pulled a fucking knife on him.
yeah, no, like I'm not saying he shouldn't have done that. He should have definitely fucking done that. That's the right thing to fucking do.
I thought it was
Um,
amazing when he
I
was like fucking the asshole was just like let go, and he bites down harder. He's like ah.
yeah, no,
I
and then Takamichi managed to get up on his back and get him in a fucking chokehold.
I will say this.
That's fantastic.
I wish the
I was
show showed us. Sorry, me, really quick. I wish we got to see him kind of, like I like the fighting. I just wish we got a bit more of the fighting animated. But yes, like it was a lot better this episode overall.
They didn't show us how he got onto his back. I didn't like that, but otherwise I like it.
You were gonna say, maybe?
I, when he bit him, I was waiting for it to like pull a killing bite, just see him chomp off the chunk of meat and just spit it out. I was waiting
Nah,
for that.
with how ketchupy Draken's blood is, I don't think the show's gonna go into that detail.
Yeah, I was just holding out hope because like yeah, no, that'd be cool.
Also, to bite through skin is one thing. To bite through a leather jacket is a whole nother thing. I don't think
Oh
you
yeah.
really can. There is bikers wear
No,
leather jackets for a reason. It's hard to
Yeah,
pierce that.
yeah. The worst Takamichi could do to him is just the crushing force of his
Yeah,
jaw,
yeah.
and the crushing force of a human jaw is pretty fucking strong.
It is. It is. That's why, like, if you read like any of like this, if you go heady into zombie survival, it's like yeah, you can wear chainmail and it will save you from getting bit down by a zombie and like getting infected. But like, even if you're covered head to toe in chainmail, they'll still crush you with their jaws.
It's gonna fucking hurt.
They'll break your
Um,
bones. Yeah, it's scary.
but regardless, like I do love that it's just like he does. It didn't take the entirety of the show to think like, oh, he decided to stand up for himself and now he's going to be badass and win in a fight. No, he's still weak and he wins by desperation and a solid fucking wrestling tactic.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree that Takamichi has been kind of shit. I mean, guys, look at last week. But and I agree with you, Meep. It did this. What is this, episode 10? This took way too long to happen. But now that it has happened, I'm with it. I like this. This is good.
yeah, and we're on chapter 25 of 210, I think. So this is gonna be a bit of a slower burn, I feel. And
Oh god,
I
I
don't know,
dive into the
but
manga while this is done.
yeah,
But
and
yeah,
part of me. Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say thank you guys earlier for clearing up the Emma thing because like I don't want her to be a bad guy, like a secret bad guy. I think that'd be like I could totally see her playing that kind of character, but yeah, no.
I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I half of me was expecting after he screamed he was gonna start using time travel powers to fight. Like you just see him teleport behind Kiyomasa, kicks him in the head, becomes a secret badass. He has found his shonen power.
Yeah, I don't. I'm
Yeah,
glad
I was
it'll.
half
I'm also
expecting
glad that didn't happen.
Yeah, because that feels like the normal shonen thing to do, but just no. It keeps sure the other delinquents are fucking superpowered, but it keeps it realistic that you don't just suddenly become stronger because you're angry.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
Takamichi definitely bonus action raged, but it still worked
I
out.
mean,
And
sure. he got angry. He had adrenaline pumping through his body,
Yeah.
but it's just we've already been shown. Even though when he's not angry, he's a tough motherfucker. He can take some hits.
And
Mhm.
to what you said, Meep, if it did do that, then I would have probably killed this show because sorry, played my hand, guys. But like it would have done both of the shonen sins because it already fucked up. It already did one of the on the sin spectrum where it just had this pathetic character be pathetic, and instead of like constantly tease character development only to like just not do fucking anything with it, and then it would have done the other fucking thing where it just jumps in mega power because fuck it, it's my time to shine. Like that, both of those suck, and I'm glad it didn't do both. Took a while, but we got here.
As far as a shonen anime goes, I think this is pretty okay. It's teetering on the line of okay and good for me. Like Black Clover, this is not, but also Jujutsu Kaisen, this is not. One second.
Meep, about Jujutsu Kaisen as well. Jujutsu Kaisen, you say it shies away from most tropes, and I say it doesn't. It just does them well. This show shies away from a lot of the tropes. The main character isn't powerful. He's goddamn human. He has hard fucking flaws that he's trying so hard to break. He doesn't have any special powers. He's just a guy. Sure, he has the time travel, but that doesn't help him in accomplishing what he needs to do.
Well, when I talk about Jujutsu Kaisen, I think it like I think it does a lot of the tropes well, but I also think it subverts a lot of those tropes. Like,
This
but
show
that
is more of a concept of subverting shonen tropes in my mind while still being a shonen.
By the way, I'm looking at the manga covers right now, and holy shit, this show is so more outlandish with its character designs than we have gotten at this point, and I feel a little bit ripped off.
well, I think the characters' designs are different in the uncensored.
Like,
Like, don't
no. Like, if you guys look at the manga covers, like if you go on my anime list and preview the manga, you'll see all the volumes. Like, this show is like peak delinquent, like JoJo fucking level of like this like outfit design. So I'm like, man, I want to see more of this. I like Draken and Mikey's like overall outfits, but like I'm looking at this shit and like Draken has this fucking straight up cloak, this blue and orange dragon cloak on. Like this is fucking wild. But that's neither here nor there. That might be further down the line. Who knows?
I was gonna say it's probably further down the line, but
Yeah.
yeah, I do enjoy how this episode didn't have any comedy aside from if you want to interpret the bite as comedy, I guess you could, but
No,
it didn't. It didn't come off comedic to me. I enjoyed how this episode just stuck with the drama and it didn't go out of its way to make, like, try and undercut the scene by making jokes. I did enjoy that.
the most comedy we got was when, and I'm gonna be honest, guys. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, all of you, me, Makan, chat, when everyone started cheering him on, and it's like I got a mill on Takamichi, Draken. Which, by the way, seeing actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. And then Hina's like a million on Takamichi too, and then Emma's like 3 million on Takamichi, and then Takamichi turned around, his rage broke. He's like, "Good guys, like what? No," I'm like, guys. I was ready to hate this episode because I'm like, did you seriously just have all this build up for him to break as a joke and get his shit stomped now? But fortunately, the show stuck to Takamichi's guns, and it kind of worked.
Yeah, it shouldn't break a sweat, but I did enjoy how it was just like, wait, no.
I'm a lose.
It's like I don't think I'm gonna win. I'm gonna get my shit stomped, but I'm gonna buy time.
Yeah.
Also,
Although, one thing I do.
Mhm. Oh, you
I
go
was
first,
just
me.
gonna say
Go with your thing first, me.
one thing I quickly want to mention about the end of the episode when we see the ambulance. Am I the only one who thinks the next episode is going to open up with the like grunts kicking the shit out of the paramedics?
No, we saw the fucking shitheads kind of their morale has been turning, but I don't think that's gonna happen quite yet. And honestly, fuck it. Let's that's a good enough segue to talk about this, right?
And I mean as well, if the grunts start beating on the paramedics, well, the Furious Five of Takamichi's boys are gonna be beating them in the ass while they try to do so.
Guys, I shouted, "Yo!" Because at first I was like, "Let's go, Takamichi." By the way, both Takamichi and Draken should be bleeding way fucking more than they have the whole fucking episode.
I mean, also they're in rain. Takamichi with its open hand would sure. Draken's like head should be fucking clean at this point from the rain.
Sure, Draken's head should be clean, but his chest and lower body should be covered in blood, and Takamichi should be fucking bleeding everywhere. I love Draken's fucking they didn't translate it, but the line was Takamichi guts, and it's basically Takamichi has guts, and I thought that was really fucking cool. It was great seeing Draken and Takamichi standing as equals doing their last stand, and then the fucking friends came out, and I was already like, let's go, Takamichi, finally, let's do it. But then I was like, let's go, friends!
I fucking launched out of my chair, just went, yeah!
And the two fucking dumbasses, I was standing there thinking, like, okay, so, like, Akun is great and all, but then, like, fucking the nerd boy and the dumb boy, when they were saying, I'm like, alright, did they actually take martial arts classes, or are they just fucking bluffing and acting weird? No, they were just bluffing.
Fly like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
And then it just cuts to them getting punched in the face.
Ah, fuck.
I guess that was also comedy.
It's comedy, but it's also within the fact that these guys aren't anything special. They're just regular kids who decide to become delinquents, and now that they have something to fight for, sure, they're getting their shit stomped by people who are older and stronger than them, but they're still making their stand. They're not here to win. They're here to buy time for the ambulance. And
Yeah. That's the thing. It's not. It's comedy, but not as. It's not a joke. It's the absurdity of it, right?
Yeah. I guess it's like the equivalent of like the characters aren't meaning for it to sound comedic, but to the audience it comes off comedic, kind of like how when Cube Boy gets bullied, it's not, the character isn't intending it to be a joke, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, seeing the friends come, and it's great. Like, I really didn't think we are going to be seeing much of the friends. I think they were kind of underused, except for comedic purposes, and to just, oh hey, remember we're still here. But this was great.
Yeah. Chef kiss.
And they all shone like none of them were like less pressed than the others. Even like the sick kid fought, the nerd kid fought, the dumb kid fought, Akun fought, and all of them just, they were right there. They all were right there with Takamichi at his energy, and not only did they show solidarity with their friend that we haven't really seen, like, that's just because they haven't really been present. It's all been Draken, Mikey, and Takamichi. Not only did they show solidarity with Takamichi, they show that they have been inspired by him. And when that fucking tunnel snake rules motherfucker, snakehead looking piece of shit with his blonde palm hawk, Mopom, regardless, sees that they're not backing down, his morale starts to shake because like they're realizing, oh fuck, like everything we normally do to intimidate and bully these people is not working.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to beat them unconscious to win here. You can't scare them off. You can't shake their morale right now because you're simply fighting to exact your revenge. These people are fighting for survival.
Facts.
Like, the cornered animal argument could not be more stronger. These people have everything to lose, which means they're going to be fighting the hardest in their life.
Although, one thing that did kind of bug me this episode, like, I would understand why Emma didn't, but why didn't Hina call the police as well?
Where the fuck are all the locals?
Yeah.
They didn't. I don't think that's an ambulance coming. I think that's a police.
No, it's an ambulance. It's red and
we
white.
see it. It's an ambulance.
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't catch that.
It looked like it was really well drawn too. It looked like a fucking stand.
It was also the ambulance siren, not a police siren.
The sirens vary where you are, but yeah.
Not a difference.
Where are the locals?
Hiding.
Probably inside or taking cover from the rain, or hearing this brawl and going, "Ain't my fucking problem."
Yeah, but you see this
Yeah.
kid walking down with another person on his back, obviously struggling. You don't come out to help?
Well,
You don't
they
go out your
might,
window going, "Hey, how are you?
I mean,
You okay?"
I mean,
they're going through a back road, and I mean,
it is also late at night. Lots of people are probably at the festival.
There's enough
or at the
windows that are
festival.
lit in those buildings. Sorry, my
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, that doesn't mean they're staring out the window constantly.
Yeah, they're probably too busy watching their 10 episodes of anime each week.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, and to
But
be
yeah,
fair,
no,
oh,
just to make that argument some more. The lights might be on in my house, but I'd like never look out of my windows. So
I was also gonna say if they did from the angle, it would probably just look like you're carrying your drunk friend.
definitely, and like if rain would have worked like rain actually does, blood would have washed off his head, and there would only be the blood on the stomach, maybe the back, but it's also dark, and it would be mostly hidden from him carrying him.
You know what the thing the thing I am more like about. Why didn't Takamichi knock on anyone's door and go, "Hey, my friend is wounded. We're waiting for an ambulance. Can we just stay in your house out of the rain? That will
Now,
probably give him an infection."
yeah, that would have been a great thing, but at the same time, Japan is quite reserved about delinquents. Like, if you have a tattoo, that means you're most likely part of the Yakuza, and Draken having a tattoo right on the side of his fucking head, there's not a lot of people that would let him in.
I don't know.
Yeah,
If
but
Pokemon taught
it's
me anything, is that you can just walk into people's houses.
I no. What I'm saying is, I would have liked that to be a scene if he did, and they refused him. I
They
don't
shut the
understand why
door.
Takamichi didn't do it.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you, but Takemichi being a delinquent, I think he knows that. At the same time, I would have loved to see it. It might just been a delimitation of time or them following the manga, which didn't do it.
Personally, I think
yeah.
this show is quite obviously romanticizing the delinquent lifestyle, and because of that,
Any
everything.
show, any anime or manga that covers the delinquents
Sure,
always
sure, sure.
romanticize.
But I also feel like same thing with like the Park Fight Club and all that other shit. Like before I could explain it, right? Like there's an issue with like gangs and delinquentism in Japan because like the police won't organize against them, um, unless it gets like
Were were
actively
they?
problematic. Hold on, and in this case, the show kind of lives in its own bubble. I think everything kind of. I'm starting to get the feeling and like just reluctantly accepting that everything occurs in its own little bubble, so that the full romanticism of Jesus of the delinquent life can be indulged and really like given chance to glow. But yeah, what were you saying?
I was gonna say, what part of Tokyo is this in? Is this in Ikebukuro? Because I want to make a shitty joke.
They did mention they're not in Ikebukuro, but they did mention that there was a gang from Ikebukuro that was considering like to like fuck with them.
Okay. Are we are we at a point where we're ready to hold up cards?
Uh Almost. Takamichi, well, it was great to see you have so much growth. Why the fuck do you keep saying Draken's name as if it's gonna do shit? Like it's gonna do something when he's bleeding out in front of
He's a
you?
shonen protagonist.
Okay, cool, fair enough. And then
Oh,
hmm?
I was just gonna say, sorry, I didn't realize you were talking. The audio just cut back in. My bad.
No,
Yeah.
you
Also, okay. I also have another thing to complain about. When he was like, when he found Draken being stabbed in the stomach, flip that motherfucker over and put some pressure on that wound.
he doesn't know. He's a middle
And
schooler.
I got
He's
taught. I got
he's
taught.
also an adult.
I got taught this shit at like
Barely.
age of 10.
Why did you get taught what to do with a person who has been stabbed in the gut at the age of 10?
I got taught that if there is an open wound, you put pressure on that shit.
I also get it. I get it can be hard to, and this isn't me. This isn't me being snide. I'm actually I forget sometimes too. It's hard to forget that he is an adult because of the time travel thing.
He's
But
barely
he is
an
still an
adult.
adult.
He's barely an
Yeah, no.
adult.
Like, even so, yeah, no, he should still know basic first aid, even if that's the case. Because
I didn't get taught it when I was.
I didn't even consider the fact that he was an adult. I considered that from the point of view for the middle school. This boy's like 28 in actuality. He should know first aid.
Yeah, I didn't get taught that when I was 10. I got taught first aid in high school, but he's still gone through high school at this point.
Right?
Yeah.
He should know to flip that motherfucker over, put some pressure on that damn wound.
Also, if I was gonna be honest, like my note is actually a lot more like angrier because I still was not happy with Takamichi from last week. It was like, why do you keep saying his name? It's not gonna do shit. Just like you, Takamichi.
Yep.
Eat those words, huh?
He's a shonen protagonist, all right.
Yeah. And also the fight between Hanma and or Hamna, whatever the fuck his name is,
Oh, yeah.
and Mikey, albeit short, was pretty fucking cool.
It was so fucking cool because Mikey's been shown this invincible motherfucker, and now he has a match.
Just when he saw that Draken's sick and he's realizing he can get to him and he's getting pissed off, just he elbows that one guy in the fucking liver and just goes down, and then he just keeps kicking these fucking mobs.
Well, that's what I've been missing from the show. The show needs more action for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's a show about delinquents. Like, it should be more violence.
Yeah. It gives us
ramping up. If we get to a second season, we're gonna get more.
Yeah.
Are we ready for cards?
Hey, this is.
Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna. Hey, this is climbing the ranks. It was at like 8 point. It was like 8.10 yesterday.
8.10.
8.10.
It uses decimals. Okay, I didn't know it uses 2 decimals. I thought it was just 8.1, 8.5. Okay, yeah, it's 8.16 now.
Yeah, was that? Yeah, no, it's been climbing steadily.
Nice.
Yeah. I feel like we're at a point where we hold up cards. Is it okay if I hold mine up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have anything more to talk about.
This is a very weary fuck. Now, I like this episode. I think it's a true return to form, but it doesn't stop any of my complaints that I had previously. I still did not enjoy episode 9 and what it did to Takamichi. Episode 7, I didn't enjoy. I just didn't enjoy episode 7 in general. I hope this continues on, but if we keep going this up and down, like good episode, bad episode, good episode, bad episode, it's going to lose me. Like it needs to stay at a certain pace, like a certain level of enjoyability for me, instead of this up down, because that is hurting my opinion of the show more than anything. Just the fact that it's like, I know you can be really good, but this episode is just really bad. Yeah, no, I enjoyed episode 10 though. I will give it a fuck.
Yeah, I'm happy that Takamichi actually fucking did something for once, and he actually, well, not for once, he stood up for his friend and willingly got his shit kicked in before as well, which is also standing up for his morals and beliefs. But this is more of a solid ground. He accomplished something he set out to do. He changed a part of the future that would worsen it, and he has succeeded with at least the first leg of this time travel journey. I love that he actually got his shit together and actually stood up and got angry, got violent, like the fucking delinquent he apparently was as a kid. Now just give me the same raw aggression as the Takamichi that was ready to shank some kids. That's all I want. I'm a fucking. Because I want some Shankamichi.
You want some Shankamichi? Takashanky? Also, the amount of fucking plays on Takamichi's name in this show.
I love
it. Yeah, no, I'm fucking this episode. I kind of gave my hand away earlier, but you know, this is what we needed. But now I need the show to keep it. Like the next episode, I'm hoping that I probably got picked up. Sorry about that. Next episode, I'm hoping it stays consistent and it keeps his character. Like we can have a lull, you know, he can get a little bit more, you know, reserved and down to earth, and people like, you know. But I want the guy that's on the poster. I want the Takamichi that's kind. He cares about his friends and is dedicated to his mission. But is now hard, right? Is now a badass. Is now serious. Is like chiseled. Um, Focused, determined. Give him the leather jacket. Make him a captain. And I want to see the story take off from here because Mikey's still fighting Hanma. There's still a brawl. I want them to reconvene and win. Even if the fight ends with them scattering because it was just a stalemate, or the cops actually showing up. I need something. I need some. I cannot have Takamichi going back to being the I'm so scared, because that would just kill it for me too. That being said, I really enjoy the character growth, albeit more than slightly overdue, and I also want more action out of the show as well. I want to see the Fido Fido. I just want to see. It gives us just enough. It gives us enough, not just enough. It gives us enough, but I really want to sink my teeth in. I really want to sink my teeth into a fight. I really want to get a whole episode of just brawling. So, in the end, this episode is good. Yes. Finally got our progress, but I want us to get some more fighting and to have the fighting be more animated. But yes, this is a lot better, and I hope it stays this course. Fuck.
You want to know what I want? You want to know what I want to sink my teeth into?
I squinted at the screen.
That one lady, not the one with the long tongue, but the one that was sitting to the right of grandfather. That
Oh,
had
big
control of the
booby
shadows.
lady who makes shadows.
Yes, I want to sink my teeth into her. Shadows House, episode 10, transitions. Emiliko and Kate pass the debut, but Rum and Shirley fail. Shirley dies, and Rum's memory is reset, and she is being repurposed as a veiled doll. The other living dolls are brainwashed by Lord Grandfather, and we get exposition of what shadows and living dolls really are. And oh man, I was wanting some dark stuff. I was not ready for this episode.
I knew they were gonna kill either Shirley or Rum. I fucking knew it, and I'm not happy about it.
when when I mentioned that I was really excited for today because of one show, this was the show because what the fuck?
I agree.
Like as much as I love Vivy, I sort of knew where I was already standing on that, and I knew like the points I was gonna hit. This is a round robin. I have no fucking clue how to feel about everything with this.
I had so many feels.
Halfway through this episode, I just leaned back in my chair with a wicked smile on my face. I put my hands together in the fucking Akari finger pose, and I was grinning from ear to ear.
Fuck you.
This show went into the darkness that I was wishing for from the beginning.
Not like this.
It gave us the love and the sunshine, only to snatch it away and give us the fucking horror they hinted at with the beginning.
I want to read off my notes. Opening right off the bat. Oh boy, this is going to be a dramatic episode. Run, motherfuckers! Shirley has a little bow around her finger as well. Ah, it's so cute. They're bonding. Please don't kill Rum. I feel it coming. Please don't. And then Shirley, no, fuck.
It was such a brutal scene of her just disintegrating.
I should probably put it up.
Oh, fuck. It was such a fucking heart-wrenching moment.
I was expecting it. I got to a point where I'm like, no, I think Dell's right. I think someone has to fail this debut. I think it's going to be Rum and Shirley. And lo and behold, Edward is a fucking asshole.
They made so much progress.
Although even if they passed, we got the exposition. It's like, no, Shirley was always doomed to fail because Rum was too anxious to interact with her and give her a personality.
No, I mean, Rum was too anxious, but Shirley also needed to interact interact as well. And it the responsibility doesn't lie entirely on Rum's shoulder. It also relies on
Mm.
Sherry, Cheryl,
Surely.
Shirley,
like the cocktail.
yeah, not having the drive to live, not developing her personality on her own either.
Well, I think what was explained to us is that that's normal for shadows, that their personalities come forth through interacting with their faces.
Well,
Yeah.
sure, but
And
the
Brum,
shadow also has some modicum of a personality to begin with, like we saw with the morphs that was interacting with one of the ladies in the third floor,
I don't
and when we
know.
saw
oh
them
yeah,
picking the dolls, they all seem to have their personalities slightly already.
I think they go
But
through a transformation process when they take over the original host.
yeah, but Shirley didn't seem to have one, and I think
Yeah,
that was her major flaw. And
I
her life force just wasn't there, and she was doomed to waste away eventually.
I have it in my notes. It was from what they gave us. It was some shadows when they are created. They aren't affinity. They don't have the affinity to create the personality. Although Edward, or not Edward, it was Ryan. Ryan says that there was, like, Shirley did have that little bit of affinity. It was just Rum didn't interact, so it couldn't blossom. Although someone else did say Shirley was failed doomed from the start. So it was I don't know. It's a bit confusing, but I liked the exposition we got here.
it was good
Knowing,
exposition regarding the rum thing, though. I the way she spoke about it, right? Being like, if I had just opened my heart to you sooner. And the way it was explained afterwards, where like she started getting a bit of a personality. She didn't even get a good from the records. It's I don't think her doll even her face even gave her a goodnight kiss once. I think when you're given intimacy, when are we calling them dolls, faces, or humans? Because they're obviously not, right? Fuck.
Living dolls,
Okay,
but
people.
I believe they're humans. Like they also said that morphs are parasitic things. The living dolls are most likely
yeah,
captured humans.
So when the faces give the shadows intimacy and affection, and they kind of nurture their own personalities through that, which is an interesting thing, right? Because where does that start and where does that begin? It's again a nature versus nurture question, which I think is very fascinating because it's one of the great questions of life we have yet to answer. And how much does the face dictate their shadow's personality, and how much does the shadow's personality is either like born incepted or incepted by the face? Like, is Patrick dependent on Ricky because Ricky is so like um eager to just hold him up and do what he needs to do and put him first? Is John so fucking boisterous because Sean is a little bullheaded? Is Lou so fucking just I don't need to do anything because Luis will just dote on her and do everything and embellish her and she just needs to do her job, right?
And is Emilio so bright and bubbly and outgoing because Kate is restrained, secretive, and laid back?
a question I want to pose, which I thought was very fascinating. They want all the dolls to act the same and not fret over trivial matters. Is the grandfather trying to make all of the shadows just like one entity basically? Is he trying to get them to all be the same so they'll all listen to him?
I think
They're he's grooming them to serve his will.
yeah,
That's the
and
thing. He needs them to be loyal and useful.
yeah, and as a being of the Shadowfell, because this is where we're at, boys, we're in the Shadowfell.
Oh hell yeah, we are.
He's obviously building an army or a force. If they don't, they basically said like if they don't have any like useful power, like shadows without useful soot is are are malcontents. They serve no purpose. Without a power that can serve a purpose, they're useless to grandfather. That being said, while we're talking about the grandfather and the soot, one joke and one theory. Um, one, the joke. I watched Shadow House, then I watched Tokyo Revengers. Fuck, Mikey drank the coffee
Ah,
Oh god.
because all the eyes are grayed out and dead.
so did Draken.
So the dragon, fuck, they're grandpas. They're part of Grandpapa's evil shadow cult.
Little do we know, it's actually a harem anime for Grandpa just trying to get
Oh no.
all the people. Grandpa's
Oh.
looking for a harem.
Yes.
Speaking of
Dal,
Grandpa, though, did you guys
this
notice?
shot.
Did you guys notice how much attention to the animation of his little hand gesture that when he spoke out, every frame of his hand movement was animated. Like,
Oh,
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, I have in my notes from that scene. Oh, so Grandpa is just the onceler?
Yeah. No.
also, I
I
can't.
I
Go ahead.
think they did that to animate him because they don't show his face.
Well, they don't show him at all. He's super fucking.
Well, sure, he's veiled and all, like he's always in the back and a bit in shadow and veiled. But when we actually saw him sitting there, his he didn't have a head. He just had like a golden crown with like chains covering where his head should be.
Yeah, he could be headless, or he could be. He could his outfit can be so lavish that even his dress is wearing a great coat. Even his head is wearing a
Yeah,
great coat.
yeah.
Um,
No,
he
I
could.
I figured that, but like it's either he's headless or he's revealing his face, even though shadows don't have a face.
Yeah, he could be faceless because he's the one who started this whole process, as it was explained. Also, he could just be three shadows in a trench coat.
I'm kind of hoping that he's just a fuckload of scorches in a big old flute.
Ooh, that'd be interesting. Like he's a hive mind. By the way,
Yeah.
Grandpapa's voice, really good casting.
Oh yeah. Such a
Oh yeah.
fucking good voice for the
Now,
lord of a house.
now, who do you like more as a villain, Grandpa or Edward?
Eh, fucking Ryan.
I won't see
Oh, Edward.
I don't see Edward as a villain.
I do.
I see him as an antagonist momentarily, but I see him as not an anti-hero, but more a secondary protagonist because he has his own
No,
goals, he has his own things he's trying to accomplish,
I
and I'm quite interested where he is going with
I
it.
Well,
cannot agree
see,
with you.
his goals that he's trying to accomplish is he's trying to get close to Grandfather,
Yeah,
and they set him up as a reoccurring antagonist because they're like, "We'll put you in control of the children's wing to help
Yeah,
them grow into what we want."
yeah.
but here's the thing: because of what he wants, him teaming up with Kate and Emilico is not out of the
I
question
don't know. He
because
hates.
Oh,
he
he hates them.
wants no he thought she was useless, so he wanted to get rid of her.
No, but
He
he's
got
still
proven
pissed
wrong.
off because she's been hiding stuff, and he feels outwitted, and he hates Kate for it. He called her
Sure,
malcontent.
sure, he might be feel like that in the moment of shock, but at the same time, I think Kate wants to overthrow Grandfather. Meanwhile, Edward wants to remove everyone else on the third floor because he sees them as useless parasites.
Yeah, which that would put him at odds with Kate because if Kate is trying to remove Grandfather, then he who wants to serve Grandfather, that would put him at odds with her.
But if Kate is manipulative and
She's not
all,
manipulative. She's just clever.
no, no. But that's what I mean. If she's clever and manipulates him and keeps hiding things until he acts, and if he manages to play, if he blunders and plays the card that he wants them gone, she could try and make it so seem like she also wants them gone, seeing as saying that she doesn't feel like they serve Grandfather right, and try and stroke Edward's ego and
Mm,
help say that he's going to help them
okay.
and play him.
Okay. So
But
I'm not saying it's going to be like, yeah, let's team up against the man. No, this show is all about the social manipulation and intrigue, and it wouldn't be a friendly cooperation. It would be a mutual benefiting interest.
okay, I
yeah, but
think I hear where you're going with this. So what you're saying is, I completely disagree that Edward's a protagonist, but I think that's just a situation of using the wrong term. At
That's
best,
me. That's me sitting at a lack of words.
you lack for a better term.
Thorn.
I think Edward might become an anti-villain if what you're saying right now, like Edward will be a force against the third floor four, because Grandpa is still like first of all, I can't like Grandpapa Bill Cosby over here fucking uh is sitting pretty with everything around him, and Edward will probably kill himself before he turns on Grandfather. because he has thoroughly sipped the coffee Kool-Aid, the pudding pop Kool-Aid. Um,
Oh, definitely.
but against the third floor four, yeah, I can see Edward becoming a tool to take him out for our, I'd say core five, but Shirley's potentially fucking dead, and so is Rum.
That
Surely it's that rum is gone.
okay, that raises another question. He is so Edward is so upset that the other Shadow Masters are so different from the are so different from the grandfather and seem to have their own agency and personality. Do you think that's because they haven't had that coffee? Is that how you get to the third floor? You prove yourself of worth to grandfather without needing to drink the coffee?
That
I
might
believe.
be the case, and that actually leads me to
Yeah.
another theory I was going to pitch. So, if the faces drink the coffee and become enthralled and controlled by Grandpapa, but it doesn't have an effect on the shadows, right? Does that mean when the face and the shadow fuse, Grandpapa then controls the shadow?
Yeah, I think that's the entire point of it, because, like it was explained, the Lord Grandfather can't control shadows with this suit, but he can control the living dolls, and when they fuse, that gives him control of them because he can control the living doll that is their face that they inhabit.
Hmm. And
Indeed.
Um,
that and
yeah,
that begs the question: how do the dolls and the face fuse? Because we see Rosemary and
Oh,
who's the other one?
Sarah.
Mar- yeah, Rosemary and her Shadow Master Mary Rose, or
Yeah, Mary
Yeah,
Rose and Rosemary and Sarah and Mia.
yeah, yeah. They've obviously passed their debut, but they haven't fused yet. So I'm curious as to when the fusing ceremony takes place.
True.
yeah. I mean, from what they explained, it's a process because first they interact with the living doll and the shadow to form a personality and form a connection. Then the debut is to put them under stress and to make them develop their shadow powers so they can be useful. And after that is the next step of fusing together, which means that's coming afterwards. So we're not there yet.
I just love the fact that Rosemary's shadow, Mary Rose, is a fucking prince.
I, I, I fucking love her. She's so good.
Oh, we get to see Barbie's doll or Barbie's Shadow
Yeah, and
Master
she's
interact.
she's almost as crotchety angry as Barbie.
Yeah, that was a bit
She
sad.
she isn't constantly angry though. She can act nice.
No, it's thinly veiled because like Kate was talking to her and she's like, "Yep, you got it. I'll take care of it." Like she was trying to like get under her skin. She's like, "Yep, sure. Thank you for the information." She's like, "Fuck you. React." And walks away.
Yeah, yeah, but the coffee definitely doesn't work in the shadows because Kate did drink some of it.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to drink all of it, but I don't see why that would have any point.
And
Maybe
Emilico
the
drank
effects.
both doses.
Yeah. But the Sean, Ricky, and Lou was also affected, which means that the other ones at least sipped a bit of it,
Yeah.
and then it would have been affecting them.
Well, they were told to sip it,
Um,
so.
yeah, I mean they were offered it; they weren't forced.
Also, that made Shadow, the one that was like serving everyone the coffees and everything, sneaky bitch. Because like the first time I thought like, oh, there's a Shadow maid, huh? Weird. But no, she knows what she's doing. She's giving them coffees.
Oh yeah. Um, but just seeing them all with like the smoky, sooty eyes, like in the crowd, and they're just crying, and I'm like, oh, I got shivers down my spine. I'm like, oh, this is so fucked. This is what I
Yeah,
was asking for.
So
yeah, that's why I loved this episode.
I chat's putting out a good point. You think the coffee is like creating a specific type of shadow sickness, a soot sickness?
Probably, yeah.
Possibly.
Considering that the eyes look similar as to when Rosemary had this sickness.
Yeah, I'm
Hers,
looking it up
hers
right
was more
now.
hers was more solid, but this
Yeah,
is still kind of in the same area.
yeah, like sooted out.
Yeah.
And I do have my theory for how this might get fixed.
Is it Kate fucking like doing a fucking
Oh.
lobotomy on Emilico?
No, I think it's more Kate puppeteering the soot out of her because she can control soot.
That's what I meant. Yeah,
Not even hers. Not even her own. She can control other soot as well. From I think that's the point, at least that I've seen.
Yeah, I think Kate is going to. I think that's going to be the fix, right? Kate can extract the soot
Yeah,
from the Grandpapa
from the
Cosby's soot from all the dolls. That being
yeah.
said, I am ready for that to be fucking painful.
Yeah, I'm ready for that as well. But like, even if we get the main four now that Shirley's dead and Rum is no longer herself,
Save Rum.
um, if that even if it happens to four of them, like, yeah, all hunky dory, we're back to normal again. But we're not, are we though? Because every other doll is affected with this shit.
Also, like, yeah, I can't believe Grandpa, Lord Grandfather, isn't idle. Just took his hand out and everyone lost their fucking mind.
Oh yeah.
I
Also, I just need to point out because we're on the screenshot, and when I was watching it, just Emilico was just talking with Kate, and I'm like, "Well, we need to serve Lord Grandfather," and just smiling at her. And in just the last second before the ending, just turns to look at the camera.
Yeah, and fucking Kate going, "Oh
yeah.
no," and yeah, me. Well, you've been trying to say something. Sorry.
I
Ow,
was just gonna
sounds.
say. I was just gonna say I do like how each Shadow Master seems to have different powers. Like John appears to have the ability to explode soot. Kate can control it. Grandpapa is if you eat my soot, I can control you, which is it's a scary take on all or one for all.
Yeah, with the power of my soot.
Yeah, no, I really I enjoyed this episode. We ready for cards?
No, not yet. Going back to Shirley and Rum. I thought her anxiety was coming through, like her soot powers were manifesting because they were connecting, but no, that was her dying.
I thought so as well. Like, oh, she's actually manifesting soot, and I'm like, oh, no, she's not.
She's dying.
I was sad. I was just having shivers and goosebumps during the entire show, but I could not stop myself from having a macabre smile on my face.
But yeah, I loved Rosemary and Mary Rose. I thought they fucking walked in while she's such a prince, and I'm all here. I'm all for it. I am so here for it.
Mary Rose gives me the same Reiko energy. Like give her
Oh, yeah.
give her 10, 15 years, she'll be flirting with all the younger people.
Also, when the fucking I mean that is, you know, the prince archetype, right? The female prince.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun when done right. And yeah, when Uba noble lady was like talking about Ron, she's like, yeah, she's utterly, yeah. We always knew she was doomed to fail. Plus, like, if the records say that her face hasn't even given her a good night's kiss even once, what a useless doll. And I'm just like, don't you speak to Rum? Don't you speak about Rum that way? How dare you? She's so smart.
Also with their explanation of the morphs and how they work, I like that my theory from like episode 1 or 2 was fucking right. That they are the ones taking over, like like modeling themselves after the humans
Oh
and
yeah,
taking over. Because I have no fucking doubt in my mind these are not created. These are humans that have been captured, kidnapped, wiped their mind, and then presented.
that is what
Yeah,
the Shadowfell Fae do.
we see the kids at the start of episode 1 drinking coffee. Is that erasing their memories from
Yeah,
before when they were captured?
yeah, that's exactly
Okay,
what's
so they
happening.
drink the Kool-Aid.
They drink the pudding pop Kool-Aid. Yep.
Yep.
It's funny too. When I was watching this episode, I was watching. It's like coffee, drugs. Like, why would it be drugs? Why would they give kids drugs? And then the person I was watching it with, my friend, was just like, oh, well, shit, you're right.
Pudding pop.
Pudding, bro. But yeah, no, it's fucking disgusting. Grandfather's a Machiavellian piece. I mean, we always knew it, but we needed to know why he was like evil, right? Edward's also kind of a fucking spiteful little shit. Uh, Barbie's shadow. Sarah's still a fucking cunt. And one of our good beings is dead. However, she hasn't been removed from the ending, so I'm gonna hold out hope. Probably foolishly, but let's see what happens.
This isn't another Junpei situation. No, no, this
Uh,
is another Junpei situation.
uh,
I'm going to tell you exactly what I theorize is going to happen. And hey, most of my theories for the show has been fucking right.
God damn, stroke your
Either
back a
she,
little harder, friend.
yeah, no, I'll swing this erection around all I want. Um, but either it's one of two things. We're going to see Rome walking around as a veiled doll,
We are.
and we're going to recognize her. But
Of
she is not going to recognize any of the others,
course
and
not.
she is not going to act with them, and she might even become violent if they do try to do anything. Two, she gets her mind wiped and gets put up for selection by the other morphs again, and we see her come back with a new Shadow Master with
Well,
a
no,
completely different mind.
they straight up say she's being repurposed as a veiled doll.
Yeah, but they might change their mind.
I almost want the second thing to happen, but I doubt it will. What I think is going to happen there, everything that you said, your first take is going to happen, and then Kate is going to extract the shadows from her as well. Is going to extract the soot from Rum. However, what they're going to do with Rum after they save her is beyond me. Because, like, what are you going to do with a spare doll? And I know it's a fucked up way of putting it, but that's literally what her stance will be in the house.
You know,
I
Yes.
think the show might be more about like overthrowing or escaping from the house. I think it's going to be more about taking down Lord Grandfather, and then the shadows won't be more important. Dolls won't just be their face, and Rum can go on. She's going to be hurt and have felt such hard loss, but
Oh my
she gonna
god.
keep going if Kate can save her.
Rum is the new Vivy.
yes. Also, I had another thought about the possibility of the third floor lords.
Huh?
Lord Grandfather had to have had a doll, right?
Well, that's the thing. We don't know if he did, because he's the one who created all
Hmm.
this. So he might very well be faceless.
If he has a doll, what I imagine might happen is, well, not might happen, but might have happened is the third floor lords are his family, or the Lord Grandfather's quote unquote family, like the doll's family. I don't know, maybe. I'm not sure, because Ryan seems very antagonistic and upset when he's like, "You're not going to get to the third floor like that, Edward." Yeah.
Of course, his fucking soot powers would be a whip.
You know, considering my theory of the dolls as being humans, that they were repurposed, that they were captured and repurposed, my idea for Lord Grandfather is that well, his flesh and blood that he has been puppeting has reached expiration date and it died of old age, but he kept pupping it, morphing with it in a certain way that only age can do with it.
Maybe. Do you think all the kids they capture are travelers who are like, "What's up with this mansion?" Oh no.
I
No,
mean,
I think they might be stolen away in the night, or there might be camps where just make children before being brainwashed.
no, it's not Promised Neverland.
I'm taking
Why?
this idea.
Oh,
I'm
it
taking
is
this.
hard Promise Neverland vibes, my guy.
I'm taking this. I'm taking this idea for my D&D campaigns. Hey, go check out this mansion. Oh no, you're being controlled.
Yeah, no, I have already started writing that into my own campaign, heavily
Well, that's just
influenced by
great.
this.
I might have some fucking. I might do this for the Shadowfell because the Shadowfell is for me just like, oh, it's just a place of mystery and torment. Having stuff like this would be so much more interesting to do for me.
Well, here's the fun thing, right? Yeah, Shadowfell is a realm of like hate, torment, and apathy. It's the Fae who've lost the spirit of the seasons. That being said, historically, like through myth and lore, the Shadowfell and a lot of Faelor dealt with lost children being taken in by the spirits of the forest or the shadows, right, or the night. It's always wayward souls taken in by these beings to create this pact, which is really a symbiotic, if not parasitic, relationship with them. So all of this just not only are they hitting like gothic aesthetic, they're hitting gothic and pre-gothic lore. Like it's great.
It's good.
Oh,
We're turning
oh,
into a grim fairy tale that we knew was coming, but happened in one of the most painful ways.
I thought they had abandoned it and just went for like, yeah, let's
No.
just do a new thing. it like early on, but then the turn happened,
Yeah.
and it just scratches that itch of my personality, which is just morbidly curious for the worst outcome.
Yeah, I mean, I remember at the start. I remember I can't remember if it was you and Al or just you that was feeling kind of like, I want more dark stuff.
It was both of
Or
us.
Both of us,
Okay.
but I was more on the edge of killing the show because it wasn't there.
Yeah, and I remember I was like, I think give it some time. It feels like it's gonna promise some of that. And I remember for a while, all of us were like, yeah, it's not gonna have those dark vibes probably anymore. But then we got it, and I'm like, oh yeah, it delivered, and I'm happy. The team that's doing Shadow's House, good work.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And I don't know if you have anything else to talk about, but I have one last thing to mention before we hold up cards. Or not really mention, address. We talked about Kate and Emilico in the bad times and in the theory times, but we didn't talk about them in the good times. Kate and Emilico, their reunion, there we go. Their reunion showed them being stronger than ever. Their connection and them as individuals stronger than ever.
Oh yeah,
It
they were
was
so close. They were so caring. They were talking more openly and caring for each other more than they ever had.
and understanding each other more than they ever had.
Yeah,
Fucking
and
Mhm.
and their fucking teamwork to actually make it to the finale of the debut in time as well.
Yeah, like Kate understanding how hard Emilico works, even if it's some isn't always like the best. How good, how well intended, and how hardworking Emilico is, even if it isn't the most thought out stuff. But even she noticed that she grew from her interactions with like Rum and Sean and Patrick and Ricky, um, and like seeing her like think about it, like she didn't just barrel through the thorns first, right? She cleared an area, then tried to do it, and Kate was like, "Wow!" And then they teamed up because Kate's like, "We can go down the river," and then like Emilico's like, "I have this thing that's turning into a boat," and I'm like, this is great!" And the whole fucking speedy scene, and then Kate be reassuring Emilico instead of the other way around. Kate genuinely cared. Like when Kate explained, we all kind of knew that was the reasoning behind it, right? But it was set out in this very like dramatic exposition, almost poetic. Like this show really strikes like gothic fairy tales and lullabies, and even like not even just gothic, like classic, not classic. Anyway, it reminds me of folk like stories, like fairy tales and lullabies and stories, children's tales for like when I was a kid, like growing up with Russian stories, like the music, the piano, the gothic tones. Kate going like, "Do you know why I named you Emilico?" And like that whole like dramatic emotional reading, like near poetic reading, so good, so good, so good, so good. And fucking
No,
Kate descending like a fucking angel from the sky.
Yeah,
yeah,
clearly
it
letting on she has more control than we ever fucking knew, being able to fucking make wings with it.
Yeah, me, what were you saying?
it reminded me of the Canadian Angel scene from fucking Skate the Infinity when I saw it. Just except instead of Longa holding its board, it was Kate holding a Maliko.
And then she came
Right.
in.
Okay. So it's from Skate to the Infinity, because I was like, Canadian Angel. I just searched up Canadian Angel. I just Google images. I'm like, this doesn't tell me anything.
Yeah, no, and like Kate isn't above being dramatic and showmany, right? Like she like thinks that she is, but like she came in dramatic as fuck, made an incredible entrance, and then like 2 seconds later, like almost dropped to me because like fuck, I'm not strong. Ugh, you're heavy.
Yeah, just oh god, I can't do this anymore.
And then like Kate prioritizing taking care of Emilico before. Oh god, she would have died. Kate prioritizing Emilico before like prioritizing Emilico over passing the debut was really cute. Then being just content with being together, heartwarming. And then probably the thing that got me the most excited to see in the beginning of the episode, besides Archangel Keita, Emilico was being a really good face.
Oh yeah.
She was capturing the emotes, she was reacting accordingly, she was attending. They really progressed over this labyrinth.
it this episode just tied up so many things so neatly, and it was so satisfying.
This is a this is a really good show. And I remember we mentioned last week, like, there's no suspense for what Meep's gonna marry. There is now for me. Because
Excellent.
I don't know. I just something about this episode really hit me. Well, I don't have the extreme personal connection like I do for the other show. I don't know, just something about this is capturing me, and it'll definitely depend on how the other show ends and how this show progresses, because they're not going to be able to finish off the manga in the 3 episodes they have. I think we're 30 something chapters in, and there's around 80 to 90 chapters. So at most, we might cover another arc, but yeah, no, I'm interested to see how it progresses.
Shadow House 2, please. Do we hold up cards?
Yeah.
Cool. I'll go first. I'm fucking this show. I love Shadow's House. It hurt a lot this episode. Out of all the episodes that we've had this week, this one surprisingly hurt the most because of Rum. And even though I knew it was coming, I'm like, God damn it, you fucking. It's a character you want to see good things happen to because they're just so genuinely good. They just have so many hardships, and it's really not fair. But it's this contradictory, almost like conflicting feelings of like Rum didn't deserve this, but at the same time she did fail, so she kind of does deserve it, and it's like fuck. And it's like Emilico helped, like by being human, Rum was able to start to make progress, but by the Shadow's house rule, it was already too late, and it just sucked to see it happen. It hurt. That being
And
said,
oh, sorry, no, I was just gonna add on to something you said.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say, and from a storytelling perspective, it was something that needed to happen so we could get that exposition.
Oh, for sure, but it still hurts, right? Like this is our like Nina, like fucking Full Metal Alchemist scene. Well, maybe no, maybe
It
not
didn't
that
get the
bad.
same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe not that bad. Maybe okay, that was a mid much, but it hurt.
yeah. I would compare this closer to the tragedy of Ophelia and Antonio over the
Stop
tragedy
hitting your
of
mic.
Nina Tucker.
Stop hitting your mic or mute when you do it.
I'm not.
When you
It
move the
sure sounds
things.
like you are. But me saying it doesn't hit as well as Nina Tucker, I say it hit better.
I don't know. No. I don't think it hit better. If anything, this hit more akin to Mace Hughes' death because like you kind of it was like oh, it's happening, fuck, it's happening, and then it happens, and then you're like fuck.
I think Mace Hughes' death is okay. This is where I disagree. I don't think it hit nearly as well as Mace Hughes, because Mace Hughes was
Oh, I
it was
cry to this day.
it's because of what he left behind when he died.
I just love the character so much. Mace Hughes is one of my all-time favorite not Full
Yeah,
Metal Alchemist. It's just overall characters, not even an anime, just characters.
I speak about scenes that cause me to bawl forever and
Oh
ever.
yeah, it's a
That
terrible day for
that
Rain.
is one of them.
It's a terrible day for Rain.
Yeah, that is one of the now 2 in my life.
Yeah. If
I know when I watch episode 12 again with our audio editor, I'm gonna be bawling like a little baby again.
yeah, it's a good time. I mean, it's a good hard time, but yeah, no, this show does characters incredibly well. It's built suspense, and it's kind of successfully created a false sense of security without feeling cheap or artificial. Whatever Shadow House is doing, keep doing it. I'm fucking the show. I love this show. Good job. You hurt me. You hurt me a lot, and I respect it because it was by design, but it's natural. It feels genuine.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this show too. I'm gonna give it a fuck. It is the biggest surprise for me so far this season. I was not expecting to like it as much as I did. I remember when we went through. I think it was just me and you on that stream, but when we went through, yeah, no, these are what's coming out next season. I just remember, I think both of us were kind of like, Shadow's House. It doesn't look like it's going to be the horror that we wanted. But
Yeah.
even when it wasn't horror, it still captivated us. And now that it brought back the horror elements, it's even more captivating. And that's I really enjoy the show. I really enjoy the show. I'm gonna give it a fuck, and I also like what it's bringing to our game show, because now I don't know what you two chuckle fucks were gonna marry. If
Yeah,
you'd
yeah,
asked me
yeah.
two or
Well,
3 weeks ago, I would have been able to say easily, probably Super Cub.
yeah, but like by the way this show has like affected us, it also like lets us theory craft too during the sessions during our show, so that's a lot of fun. On top of that, like yeah, no, like I was considering Shadow House is one of the things I was considering to lock, and then I ultimately considered to lock Super Cub because just something about that trailer just made all my stress melt away from me. I'm like, I'm locking this. But fortunately, this is starting to pay off on that horror. Makana's grinning like a Gendu Ikari clown over there behind his computer screen right now, and I am thoroughly intrigued by this show. Makan, what say you, Gendo Ikari? Fuck.
My massive evil smile speaks for itself. There's no way I can't fuck this show because it has scratched all the itches that I need and it keeps giving what I want. No, it didn't keep giving what I want. It held away what I wanted and gave me something I didn't know I wanted before giving me what I wanted. It is
You got edged.
certainly an interesting ride, and I am here for it. I'm fucking it.
Oh yeah.
And I just want to go on
I
record to say, I agree with you guys. I'm thinking about it. Nina Tucker was the wrong uh, comparison to make because yes, Shirley and Rum hurt, but I'm not going to be thinking about them what 10, 15 years in the future.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't as disturbing. But in terms of just like seeing a character and being like, "Ah, oh, poor baby," that is still accurate.
You know what? I'm gonna compare it to Nevin from episode 3 of Ancient Magus Bride. That that is actually no. Nevin was a bit more bittersweet than it was sad. Never mind. I'm dumb.
All right. Well, you're not spoiling 3 different shows for people who possibly haven't seen them.
I never said the events. I just say the name.
Yeah.
And it's not a. And it's if you watch the show, it's not a spoiler once you get to that character.
As long as you've watched it, it's not a spoiler.
Well, no, I'm saying when you watch the show and get to that episode, it's not. Dal, you know what I mean.
I know.
I get it as well. I'm just being a prick.
God, Ancient Magus Bride was such a beautiful show.
Oh, 100%. I was like on the cusp of the wave of just visually stunning, visually nature stunning shows. This is a good week.
Yeah, this season might be the most interesting season for me, like because I felt like in winter I knew what I was getting into because I knew I was going to I knew I was going to enjoy the dumb fun of Skate. I knew I was going to enjoy the show I locked Code Black, and I knew I was going to enjoy Jujutsu Kaisen. This one we had all new shows. I had no clue what I would like. Two of the 4 shows we have left, I thought I was going to hate. And I did hate one of them for a little bit until I started actually engaged, or not until I, as much as I make the joke, it kind of did end up being Stockholm Syndrome. Me going, well, it's gonna stay. Let me try to find stuff I'll enjoy in it, and I succeeded.
Found Reiko.
Yes, Reiko was something that show needed. Just like I feel like you could still have Shadow's House without some of the side characters. It's a bit tough because there are some side characters that just make the show for you. Like I don't think Vivy would be as good as it would be without Matsumoto, and I don't think Super Cub would be as good as it would be without Reiko. But
Yeah, but Matsumoto's like one of the main characters, right?
he's listed as supporting.
No fucking way.
He's a supporting character, so
There is no God. God is dead and we killed him.
just like how Elias in Ancient Magus is a supporting and not a main.
What? No, Matsumoto's
Yes.
listed as main.
Huh?
Yeah.
On their website, they have them listed as supporting.
Look at the website. Anyway, moving on.
For the purpose of show nominations, I think he's supporting, but that's a conversation for a different day.
Anyway,
as far as I think we're ready to do a graveyard tour, aren't we?
Quick graveyard tour.
Alrighty. I have watched a lot of things since our last graveyard tour. So I am not going to talk about everything I watched, other than vagaries. Megalobox Nomad is pretty good. Although the first 4 episodes are definitely a highlight so far for me. I caught up with Dr. Stone. I watched. What did I all watch? It's been a while. You know what? I'm just gonna go into the show that I want to talk about. This is a show from a bygone season. I think it's 2019. It's called "How Heavy Are the Dumbbells You Lift?" It is a dumb, fun comedy show that is fan service for both genders. The men are all ripped. The girls are all beautiful. It is just do you want anime popcorn? You do? Watch this show. It's great. The comedy works. The Russian character has a running gag where she'll mention like a quote from Putin.
God damn it.
And then you'll see naked Putin with like a bear or something. And it's like, that's what the show is. It's just a shit post. It is like Pop Team Epic if Pop Team Epic had a structure and a story.
Oof.
It's a show I've been meaning to watch for quite a while, but I just haven't taken the time yet. It's like that for a lot of anime, because I just don't take the time for it.
Yeah, no, it also has Arnold. It also has I
was ready for you to say
not...
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, no, it does have him. I can't find who his voice actor is, because I legitimately think in the dub he's voiced by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh my god.
I just can't find the English cast anywhere. Like, I looked up and down for the English cast, and I could not find the English voice actor for him. And it's like, is he voiced by Arnold? Is he? Because it sounds like he is.
Shaking my damn head.
I love it.
To all you naysayers who say I hate comedy moe anime because I hated Kuma Bear, I do not. This anime was really good, and it is comedy and has some moe elements.
I don't think I'd call it moe, though. Right? Like, it's not moe.
It feels moe in some parts, but in some parts it doesn't.
Yeah. I let's just leave that as a gray area. I haven't seen this, so I can't really judge it, but it doesn't sound like a cutesy show.
It feels like moe in the same way Majino Tabi Tabi felt like a moe.
Big eyes.
Big eyes, cutesy, simplistic characters, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Mackin? You been watching anything?
Oh, I haven't really had the time apart from the shows we've been watching, so I haven't really watched shit. I think the last Graveyard Tour we had a while ago, I mentioned that I watched the last season of Castlevania. That's about it.
I'm still in the middle of the latest season of Castlevania. They did it well.
Yeah, no, I watched all of it in one sitting with my good pal Steak. And yeah, no, I fucking loved it. It's great. It's I feel like they copped out on some few things. I'm not going to spoil what, but at the same time, it's also understandable how it happened in story wise. So I'm fine with it.
Mm. Also, me, if I'm looking at this, and I take it back. It is kind of moe.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I see what you mean. Point withstood. I watched the first episode of Pretty Boy Detective Club.
Is it bad?
It's not bad. It's just it is very much the Pretty Boy Detective Club, and emphasis on the pretty boy. It is so dramatic. It is so over the top. I'd say even go as far as say it's melodramatic. So over the top from the voice acting to the animation to just the visual effects. It's like glitter put into your eyes and then watching just the fucking most prettiest Bishojo fucking pretty young boy anime ever. Holy shit.
So, by the way, I meant to ask, were you the one that watched like the one band anime with where they were wearing bunny suits? Because I saw that on my Funimation. I don't know if that was you or not.
No? Wait, Haruki? Are you talking about Melanie and Susumu Haruki?
Are they in a band wearing bunny suits
Well,
on one of
she
their
is.
thumbnails?
Yeah, she is.
Oh, I heard banned anime as it was banned from airing.
No, 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 no. Yeah, no, that is a terrible way to talk about that scene. But yes, I was showing a friend and my partner the fucking scene of uh God knows that iconic scene that honestly has influenced anime massively in terms of music production. Uh, we were watching um Zombieland Saga Revenge, which by the way, if you're not watching that show, you need to watch Zombieland Saga. It is so funny and the music is so good and the characters are really fun. Um but yeah, no, there's a scene with my favorite girl in terms of singing. Best girl, not my favorite girl. My favorite girl is Saki. Best girl is Junko. Um she has her song and Mappa obviously did a lot of love and attention to the scene, but honestly, they could have gone further. And if you look at Naokune of Suzumiya Haruhi, which I think is a 2014 show, no, it's more. It's like 2007. I was 14 when I was watching it. Point is,
That was a long time ago.
yeah. The school fair episode with God Knows and Lost My Music. That shit is so fucking incredible. It holds up to this day.
Yeah, no, I was asking because I saw it in my Funimation. I'm like, what? What the fuck is this? Because I saw the thumbnail. I'm like, who watched this?
I want to say like one of the best animes ever, but like it's been like 15 years, so I should revisit it.
Certainly one of the most influential anime in the world.
Oh yeah.
A lot of things
Desho,
showed
Desho.
up everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might be watching After the Rain soon. I heard it's really good, and I'm on like the part of the TFSM FMK where Ben is watching through and giving it such high praise, and that's what sort of gave me the idea. It's like, I should postpone watching Fire Force more and watch this. Honestly, I might just not watch Fire Force now that I keep going. How can I postpone watching this? It might just be good not to watch it.
I kind of want to watch Fire Force because the animation just looks incredible, especially for like the action shots.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard very mixed opinions on it. I hear some people praise it like it's the second coming, and I've heard some people trash it like it's fruit tart.
Yeah. 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 I've also watched a bit of Snow Princess of Blood and Moon, whatever that show was called. Juri Han.
Oh yeah, that show that was a potential for me, or was it your lockdown? That
It
was
was
a
a
potential.
potential one of my locks. I tried to tell you to I tried to impulse you to lock it.
Yeah, I mean, I looked over the thumbnail and the synopsis and watched the trailer for it, but I'm okay with it, but it doesn't really speak to me.
Yeah, the trailer was a lot cooler. I'm gonna say this. The show isn't bad, but isn't particularly good. One of those shows you kind of sit down and binge because some scenes are really dramatic and others like it's just something about the fucking pacing. Things kind of just happen in a way that like to me it's incongruent and like it much like with Mars Red, a lot of the like scenes that should have been really sad kind of don't get the time they need to like really set in. But I'm going to reserve judgment until I watch a little bit more of it because it's still interesting to watch. It's okay.
I was I was thinking of taking a look, but I hadn't heard good things. And I read through some reviews, and I was like, I might wait and see if someone else I know watches this and see if they'd recommend it.
Yeah, yeah. As of right now, if you need something to watch, go right ahead. It's interesting enough. The aesthetic is nice. Uh there's an interesting setup, more or less, especially with the relationship with the princess and the little girl. But it's also like I'm starting to get the feeling like we're gonna get plot twist, yeah. And I'm like,
Shyamalan style twist.
yeah. So if you need something to watch, I won't say like don't watch the show, it's bad, but I'm also gonna say like, you know what, I can't give it a wholehearted recommendation. All right, boyos, is that everything for this week's Graveyard Tour?
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah.
Cool, awesome. I'd like to thank everyone again for joining us today in chat. Those of you who are across the world where it's getting rather late, those of you who are here who come through all the time, thank you very much. This has been fun. This is a good session, guys. I enjoyed our conversations. Also, hearing you and Makan go back and forth on opposite ends of Vivy was funny. Not funny, just fun.
It feels like okay. I It feels like a show that was made specifically for me at a very crucial point in my life that speaks directly to me. That's the best way I can describe my love for this show, and the reason why I might seem to have more patience with it than other shows. Because, sure, I know Toke is a weaker part. I don't watch it for Toke. I watch it for Vivy, for the main character, and Matsumoto. I
Yeah.
I can give I can give my lenience to the Toke part, but I will acknowledge, yeah, no, Toke Boy and Toke as an organization aren't the strongest. Although I will also recognize that because I definitely feel with maybe not Toke as an organization, but Toke Boy, it felt like they had something with him, but they just didn't have enough time. I don't know.
That's fair.
Definitely, if they release the manga form of this, I'm interested to see if they did actually cut some stuff out about him. Oh, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, the thing with like, you have very specific things that you're extremely passionate about and like invested in with the show. Me and Makan have a bigger look. We kind of take everything into account, and there are also just things that we don't enjoy about the show. Like, I still think the archives' motivation is whatever.
The big
Huh?
The big dummy.
Yeah, it's whatever, man.
I enjoy it. I thought it was interesting enough. It.
I mean, it has its last. You have it. You have your last episode, Meep. We shall savor it.
I mean,
But if my issues don't change, I am gonna kill it on this last episode.
I mean, hey, if it dies on its last episode, that doesn't. Oh no, we can't watch any more show that isn't coming out.
Don't get smug. We could have killed it this week.
I know you could have. That is why I plead, because I was like, yeah, no, I wanted to have a conversation about the final episode, and I knew you probably weren't gonna watch it if it died today, Makan, and I
would watch it just to be able to go through the graveyard tour with it.
Yeah, just to be like, fuck you, Meep, I was right.
I mean, no, it would be out of a simply just your enjoyment of the show to give it that last shot, but from my own enjoyment from it, I can't say I can't tell myself to fuck it because I do not enjoy the show.
Yeah. Pretty much what it comes down to.
And even the other stuff that is weaker, like the Toke stuff, like even in last episode, it's on screen for like 20 seconds.
Yeah, but it's 20 seconds that could have been used in a better way, right?
It is, but at the same time, it's like the MMO junkie argument. It's sure you see Morioka in the bikini. It's like 5 seconds. There's no reason to like storm the Bastille over it.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't use the argument as, well, it didn't show up for a long time, so don't judge it on it. I mean, if I was watching something I enjoyed and they showed me just some dude spreading his asshole for 20 seconds, I wouldn't enjoy that.
I'm not saying don't judge it. I'm just saying, like, that's why I don't really Like
Ah,
it's
yes, the final step for anime.
I
Goatsy.
don't think it I don't for me it doesn't ruin an episode just seeing that like and sure if you didn't like the whole archive thing, yeah, that I can see how that would drag down the episode for you. I personally did enjoy it. I'm like, okay, this is a neat sort of spin on because most AI fiction goes, oh, humans bad, we humans are racist towards AI. We will kill all the humans. And this one like I said, I found it infinitely more fascinating that it's not out of like any maliciousness or gr- not grandiose goal. It's like not like it. It's not out of any sense of maliciousness or righteous goal. I should say it's no. This is my mission, but if you're able to fulfill it in this other way, cool. We will stop,
Yeah,
and
I
that's
think
what
I
I found
think
interesting.
yeah, and that did add to like Vivy's like uniqueness as the singularity point for sure, for sure. But like at the same time, I'm just like, give me more, like give me fucking more, please. Like
I mean,
We might get that in the last episode.
sure, maybe you boil down other things, perspective on how they do things like this. Let me boil down Vivis. It's human bad, we good, but maybe you prove human not bad.
mm,
So yeah,
mm,
humans are bad.
funny joke.
The way you say things make it like the way you present something can change how grandiose it is or isn't.
Yeah. Also, Meep, like you said, like maybe we'll get it in the next episode for like the last 3 episodes. So you have to understand that we're also just like not as on board with it as you are.
I'm just more willing to see it through to the payoff, I guess. But as
It,
far as
Payoff shouldn't be on the last episode.
it should be
I-
paying off constantly during the show, not majorly, but should be something. And what you said, like, yeah, maybe you don't enjoy the archive. I did not enjoy the majority of the episode.
Oh yeah, I'm just complaining about the couple of things that I just really think are bleh in the show. Makan's the one who's Makan's the one over here is like fuck this show.
personally for me there has been payoffs like last episode at the end when we got the twist that it was the archive. That was a payoff for me. This episode when she's talking to the archive and there is that whole twist of there is that whole twist where has a second option to do. That was a payoff to me, and I'm just waiting to see like, okay, are we going to get anything more in depth with the archive, or is it more of just a forced overcome? I'm okay with it if it's just a forced overcome. It's like for me, I've really enjoyed seeing Vivi's journey, and I've enjoyed seeing Vivian
Yeah,
Matsumoto,
yeah.
and
But also remember that like
and
for us the archive twist was like, okay, what are you gonna do with it? And we decided that humans are no longer necessary. We will be the new humans. I was like, okay.
well, there's more to it than that.
I
They go
know.
into it. They
I
talk about
know.
how their mission is for humanity to evolve, but with how dependent humanity has grown on AI, which in of itself is a kind of a conversation you can have about how dependent humans in real life are on technology.
Sure, but at the
Sure.
same time, that's a conversation. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but my argument is still that their view on what evolution is just fucking against what evolution is.
Yeah,
And
if you're too dependent on AI, then remove the AI. Like that's the fucking quick
that should
fix.
be the solution if you want them
And
to.
Yeah,
that's
like fuck.
and that's the solution it presents a Vivy.
No, like if you obliterate, like that should be the solution they come to because that's the only way it evolves. Otherwise, it's extinction. It's another definition.
Yeah.
Well, again, human is a relative term. That's what I saw doing. So we will become the new humans because human is a relative term. Like you make the choice.
Human is not a relative term. Human is a species. Heart is a relative term.
Person's a relative term, yeah.
Well, we use humanize in various even in real life, people use humanize like, oh, okay, you're humanizing like people like
Yeah,
uh,
the definition's like varied. I agree, but like at the same time, like our issue still stands. It's like this is a stupid fucking this is a stupid fucking motivation.
I disagree.
The reason why we use humanize is more because of humanity, which is a word we gave to what it is because of our race, because of the emotions we feel. It doesn't really matter otherwise. Humanize is more of play on the word of humanity, not humans.
But yeah,
I liked the motivation. I liked the archive well enough. Is it the strongest antagonist? No. Is it But is it the weakest antagonist? Hell no. I've seen antagonists done much worse. This has been the archive is done competently enough, and it's interesting enough for me.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear it. Like, but ultimately for us, it's just we didn't have the same experience with it, and fuck it, so be it. But
And I'm not blaming you.
yeah, but yeah, for the record, we're all on, like, there's no disagreement. But this is where we're gonna end our session as it is running late. And we will catch you guys next week at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for more FMK Anime. You guys can also stay tuned.
We're still live.
Yeah, we have been live this whole time. Thank you everyone for coming. And we'll catch you guys next time. Bye.